Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to DBDLeague. This is the grand final of the Weekend Cup. We have seen fantastic newcomer teams just a little while ago. And today, it is time to make the ultimate decision. We are trying to find out who's going to qualify for the AHL 2024 and taking the crown in this wonderful tournament. And with me for this best of 7, more to say, we are going to have the wonderful Reoxium. Welcome in.
Hello. Wonderful to be here for this extremely long best of 7 grand finales. It's going to be exciting. This is for a spot in All Hallows League. A spot that they're going to secure by playing very, very well, showcasing what they're made of, and we have a lot of good sets today. We have so many good sets. Dyer, what is on the docket for our matches?
7 sets, you said it. We are going to be potentially in a long competition, which is always great for the final because we do potentially see a lot of ups and downs, a lot of comebacks, as we already had them in the semi-finals. If everyone remembers, we had a 2-0 in this best of 5, and then one team took it 3-2 at the end and completely overcame the opponent. So we are going to see the Billy, Nurse, Demo, Spirit. These would be the 4 killers that can already bring a decision, as one team needs to get 4 set points today. Billy, Nurse, Demo, and Spirit. And if these are not enough, then we are going to move on with Artist, Doctor, and ultimately the Blight as the tiebreaker. Looking at the first 4 here, as these could bring the decision. Billy, Nurse, Spirit, Ray, absolute great, fast, quick gameplay. You don't have a lot of extra time for your decision making. The Demo in between there feels a little bit like a chill out, right?
He is the very, very lowest tier kind of killer, up there with Billy, Nurse, and Spirit. It's a very interesting pick, especially because we still do have Blight. Granted, he is at set 7, so we might not even get there, but that is a crazy pick to just throw there in the middle. We're starting out hot with Hillbilly, a killer that can 4K3, or, maybe get like 6, 7, 8, 9 stages. And then we've got Nurse, a killer that can also 4K and also get like 6 stage. And then you've got Demogorgon, a killer that, during this season has 4K'd. It's not impossible. But if you're looking at it, probably shouldn't get more than like, I don't know, 6 stages if the survivors play it correctly. But, the balancing could make it so the survivors are backed into a corner where they can get 4K'd, and the killer just plays so very well. The chase is going well for the killer side, wins every 50-50. It definitely could happen. And then, we've got Spirit, S tier killer again, and then we've got Artist right after that. If we get that far, a killer that I haven't really been seeing a lot this season in DBDLeague, so I'm not entirely sure what the most common result for that would be. And then we've got Doctor, another low tier killer. He's M1. He has to chase normally. He involves a lot of body blocking, a lot of coordination from the survivors. And then we could finish it out with Blight if we get that far, though.
I hope we do, though. In a grand final, you do need to have all the sets making a decision. Otherwise, I always feel like it's even a little bit unfair to the teams themselves, because when you're fighting in the grand final, you deserve the best possible show and obviously all the chances. So losing a grand final with a 4-0, 4-1, anything like that does feel really bad considering the great performance you've shown during the tournament. So it would be great if we can see both teams fighting very head-to-head here, basically. Keep in mind, everyone, it is also about the future for these teams. They are newcomer teams. They have spent a lot of time and a lot of resources into presenting themselves here, and obviously you want to make it further than the Weekend Cup, and especially in the seasons, it's really hard for newcomer teams. You only have 10 slots, mostly taken by the experts and the veterans. So the All Hallows League is opening it up a little bit, but even there, along a field of 16 competitors, it is really hard to get into it. So if you are able to win this today, you can, from today onwards, prepare for the Halloween event already, because you know that you are going to be in that event. You don't have to fill the sign-up form anymore. You don't have to win other tournaments to impress us in any way. You are guaranteed a competitor of the HL. So there's a lot on the table, especially considering that these people are trying to throw their names in, and so far they did it really successfully. Let's go a little bit into the first few killers here, as we have a few more minutes in this campfire chat. The Billy, Ray. Blood Lodge turned into a slaughter map, we could say, with the recent slugging strategy. We already see the counterplay coming in from the survivor side with the good old No Mither invented by Laser. But even with this counterplay, we have seen fantastic Billy performances, and it's pretty much safe to say that it's about the generator counter here, right?
Mm-hmm. You hardly ever see survivors do all 5 gens, let alone actually get outs against the Billy. He went from being a C tier, D tier killer all the way up to S tier. My personal belief is that he's probably the best in the game, and we've been seeing him a lot during this season. A lot of Billy players want to showcase just what they can do and play the macro as well. Billy, it's not even just skill based, he's incredibly macro based, knowing when to leave chases, knowing when to go back to the generators. We also see a lot of different builds as well, and it's super interesting because a lot of Billies opt to not bring in Corrupt Intervention, which I would say is a staple in a lot of competitive builds, because regardless if you can get a quick chase, sometimes survivors just hop right on gens, but this killer, he's quick. He can get all the way across the map. It has an insta down. You don't even need Corrupt Intervention. It's basically a wasted perk slot if you get it down within the first 20 seconds of the game, especially because survivors are on Blood Lodge, a really big map. They didn't have time to spread out. So that is just like an incredible thing to see in DBD League. So different from so many other sets. We've been seeing it so often as well. It's such a treat.
I have to agree 100% there. This very fast-paced early game is what makes Billy so interesting, because the survivors from the start also always in this position of trying to make a comeback, right? There's not really the chance like with the Demogorgon, what we talked about, weaker killer, the survivors decide what's going on the map, and you almost need a mistake from a survivor, someone letting themselves zones or connecting the tiles not in an ideal way and then taking a quick injury, something like this. On the Billy side, it's the other way around, and you as a survivor team basically need the mistake of the Billy doing that. On the other hand, it makes it so much pressure for the killer player, because we have this expectation. Going into the Blood Lodge with the Billy means you will get a quick down at the beginning, minimum a quick injury at the start, and then you are going to be the dominant role on that Blood Lodge. So what the killers need in the first 60 seconds is getting a lot done already on their side. And this can be tricky for some players, because playing against so much pressure, and especially in the opening set where you really want to put your team in a nice position, this can be a little bit of a challenge. And the second killer of the day is basically identical to that. On the Nurse, we have the same expectation. Killer will be dominant. Killer will be the very oppressive role. The survivor team not really having the time. Ray, do you feel like when we play Nurse, the teams are going to be warmed up here potentially, and the survivor teams will play much more confident compared to the Billy?
They better, because Nurse is so strange to me during this season, because we've seen her get 6 staged, and then we've also seen her 4K at high gens. So I would argue that it's even scarier of a set, right? You need an insane Nurse player. That's always just a given in these high tier, S tier sets. You need a really good player who can really pop off. But like, the survivors have so many tools that they can use for themselves. They've got their exhaustions, they've got their second chance perks. So they can use that to sort of push the game in the direction that they want, but that is just if it goes exactly the way they want. And this is DBD. It's random, We've got RNG factors, we've got the juicer factors, we've got all this other stuff that makes it so maybe it's not going to go according to plan. So after the Billy set, they better be warmed up, because they could either get 6 stage or they could get 4K'd. We've seen a lot of slugging heavy gameplay in Nurse sets as well, because when you slug as Nurse, there's not a whole lot of perks that the survivors can use, right? You don't get deliverance, you don't get decisive strike. So we have seen a lot of killers decide to go for that route. Of course, you get unbreakable, but that's only used once. So That could make this set also very interesting. I like seeing what teams tend to do during those during the nurse sets because of how like weird that players have been doing games so far.
And I couldn't put it more beautifully with the analysis for the first two sets than you did right there. Fantastic switch afterwards from Billy and Nurse. We talked about it, the turns possible, the instant pressure, then the Demogorgon definitely playing against the odds a little bit. Spirit, an insane killer as well, especially on the Wrecker's Yard. An amazing balanced decision, if you ask me, for Season 9, putting her on this smaller map where you do have the dangerous shack in the middle. You have the basement around. So yeah, absolutely insane what we are having here for this grand final. Artist, Doctor, and Blight, in case this is not the decision after 4 sets. Ladies and gentlemen, we are loading in at the moment here. Insomnia representing the North American community, Eunoia the European community. So we are also having a little bit of the good old comp battle here between America and Europe. Obviously in a friendly way, but it will be very interesting. Ping difference, obviously a little bit of a factor here as well. Players cannot play too risky. They need to be aware when going for the loops, potentially dropping the pallet a little bit earlier, but this is also a fundamental competence when you're wanting to put your name out in the competitive environment. You need this experience. You need to prove yourself even under difficult circumstances, and ping can definitely be challenging. Short hint as well, we are aware that some of our maps are having some issues. This counts especially for the Coal Tower and the Suffocation Pits. The team were offered the chance to agree on something else. They didn't use that chance, said, hey, let's try to play on the standard maps we all prepared. And DBDLeague has some rules in place in case there will be bugs or unplayable conditions. So we are all prepared for today, and this is bringing us with a very known name. Ray, you will remember that from last week, and Raiden DBD, the guy who we pointed out multiple times during the stream, handing out the MVP medal as well. He's playing almost all the killers on the side of Eunoia, has done some juice on the survivor side as well, and now he's right here in the first trial on the Billy against Garaffa, Cyber, Lux, and Samurai. And Garaffa is the no-mither survivor, luckily not the one in the first chase though, but regardless, it's going to be a down.
Yep, there we go. This is definitely the player that we have seen make insane plays in the past. So we definitely know we had something to look forward to, and it did happen. We had a down super early. They barely have any generator progress. They did 3 split, Claudette unshacked, Renato over here, Ace over there. Ace bringing in the no-mither strat. You'd love to see that come back just a little bit, but it could backfire because Ace is in a compromising position. Yeah, look at this positioning! Raiden placing himself between the pallet and the rock, and the tires where Ace was, goes down in one smack. See, that's the problem with no-mither. It makes it so you were injured. You go down with just an M1, you don't even need a chainsaw, and there goes that progress on that gen. Renato is sticking his, Claudette is also sticking hers. Right now, this is an incredibly terrible position. And there we go, we've got Samurai over here who was also working but is now possibly caught out. Nice, a pellet drop that will delay the death just a little bit longer. Raiden going back to Hook. Doesn't know where Quada is, except she's right here. Does she get the... Oh my god, she needs to get the save. Okay, yeah, there we go. Still gets the save. So that could be a deliverance saved right there. But man, this is a bad situation for the survivors. Already giving out so many Hook states. And now we are possibly on to a tunnel out right here at 5 gens. With Ruin up, mind you, all that progress for gens, it's just gone.
Absolutely, the survivor team basically just fighting for the saves and the resets if anything, but definitely not the generators. The gens, not a priority at all at the moment. I believe there's not a single % of progress in any of these generators. Garaffa has to pick up Cyber and Lux, so he's certainly not working on an objective as well. We do see the chase here with Samurai now lasting a little bit longer than the other ones. This little bit of wiggle room coming out for these survivors now, and that's what they really needed, a little bit of freedom and a little bit of a chance to just breathe through, set back, and basically restart this entire trial. 2 stages so far on the board. Cyber, when getting hooked now, is going to be the 3rd stage into the game, 60 seconds away from the elimination. This looks good now from the survivor team. They definitely earned themselves a little bit of time that they can now use to put into the generators, but my god, Raiden DBD absolutely not giving them a chance from the get-go here. Main generator has been attacked as well. Claudette has to push away though, since she is already injured. We have the Ruin and Undying here in the trial as well, coming in very handy for Raiden. So whenever one of these survivors is leaving the gens, immediately the regression starting. Next down onto Samurai. Obviously the slug here. Raiden wants to stay dominant, catches the survivor that wants to move towards the shack, and that's a smart decision here, as you would definitely make it with the base kit BT. But now, after sacrificing Shack Pallet, you will be in a difficult spot again. Raiden trying to anticipate that the survivor would use this filler pallet is a little bit wrong on that call, and will have an increased distance to Jake, which the survivor team is immediately using to complete the first generator. So from the side of Insomnia, a great comeback now.
Getting that one generator done could make the huge difference. We still have Ruin up, and we know that it's Ruin Undying. The survivors don't know. So even if they wanted to get rid of it, they would have to cleanse 2 totems, and this is such a large map, having to search for them if they don't already know where they are. We had a little bit of full Thanatophobia value, so it took a little bit longer for that gen to pop, but now it is gone. Bye to that perk. Oh god, Raiden tried to go for some insane curves, does zone out anyway, will getting Garaffa down onto the ground, and that will be placing him up on his 2nd stage. No, he never hooked him, did he? No, he did. Sorry, the UI threw me off. He did hook him. So this will be his 2nd stage, another survivor that's close to being out of the game. We see this Claudette just going right towards the hook. She doesn't care. She just beelined it. The Billy taking a little bit of a scenic route. Didn't see her get that far. She just went for the quick save right there. I believe that means that Garaffa could be the decisive strike survivor, so it didn't matter. Oh, but Raiden wants to go for more. Is slugging the Claudette on the ground. Oh, and he just is so patient with that chainsaw, waiting to the very last second. Oh my god, he's gonna slug the no miter. Are we gonna see perk value? Wants to go and prevent another generator from being done. Knows that if he pushes Samurai off the generator, then it's just gonna regress with Ruin Undying. Oh yeah, and it's the generator that's actually really close to them. That could be really, really good. Getting one more gen right now could really make the difference between a 4K4 and a 4K3. That affects the win clock for the next game by a huge margin.
Absolutely, I love the prioritization of the generator there. By the survivor side, definitely bumping up the win condition is the priority here. I also understand the slack of Garaffa here earlier, because either you lose that survivor with the no mither, or you are going to have the decisive strike here. Garaffa decided ultimately to give the killer a little bit of a slap, but the revenge immediately coming out. That's going to be the down, and then we're down to 2 survivors remaining in that trial here. Rough start for Insomnia. Good comeback. Of course, when you're looking at the bottom left corner, it doesn't really feel and it doesn't really look like the biggest comeback, but I think we can agree on that. At the very beginning, it looked like an immediate 4-man slug into the 4K5 here. So getting 2 generators out of the way is definitely a comeback from the survivor team here. And they will try to play that out in the upcoming trial. You at least need 3 generators on the side of Eunoia. The Billy extremely agile. You have a nice 4-gen setup sometimes on the Blood Lodge, so you can make a little bit work here. And who knows, if Insomnia is coming into the game as quick as Raiden, they might be able to challenge that. So far, though, it is only a very confident Raiden going against a very overwhelmed Survivor team from Team Insomnia, and that also obviously sets the tone in this grand final.
Oh my God.
Raiden doesn't care if there's a balanced landing. He's just going to chainsaw the Survivor anyway. Insane performance that Eunoia is putting up here at the moment. And as since I was speaking about it, obviously this sets a tone for the grand final. This very first trial is really important. Both teams get a first impression of each other. Both teams are trying to find out how is the opponent today. Are they prepared? Are they going to play risky? Are they with a lot of confidence? And I think we can tell that Insomnia is better. A little bit careful about what Eunoia and Raiden have prepared. A fantastic trial, 4K3. Ray, while we are enjoying Lux and Samurai vibing on the hook there, how do you play this in the upcoming trial? Survivor team cannot do anything too crazy with the perks. The builds are locked in. The same goes for the killer. But how do you play this as the Survivor team when you have such a good win condition in the upcoming trial, knowing you just need 3 generators? Do you still play it aggressive, or do we potentially see something slower, something hiding, and when we know where the Billy is, only then we're going to spread across the gens here?
To see it like playing like stealthy, hiding versus playing aggressive has its up and downs, right? I think you have to just play it by heart because you need to have incredible positioning in the beginning. You don't want to give a down super early, kind of like what happened this game. You don't want to start those hook stages. You don't want to start the tunnel out happening. But also, when you have the mindset of you only need to pop 3 gens, you can play way different than you would play whenever you're going into a set fresh, not having a win con already set, right? You can have 3 survivors to split on gens, and if you have just one good first early chase, you don't even need to be like a juicer. You could just go and throw like several pallets in a row, having the Billy break all of those pallets, being forced to do that, winning 50-50s, and that could get progress on 3 separate generators. And then if the Billy decides that he has to hook somebody, that still takes time. You can play it slow early game, but the risk you're running is if you're caught out and you start the hook stage process, then you don't have any generator progress to speak of. And Ruin is a very real perk that killers have been bringing into Billy sets quite often. So if you are pushed off gens, those just sort of regress. You need to play it in a sort of balance, slowly versus aggressive. You can play aggressive if you have those perks that allow you to live, right? If a survivor has balanced landing and they're on top of a hill, you can pull them with the mindset that they won't be going down in like 2 seconds, right? They can activate their balanced landing. It all just depends on these tiny little factors that survivors will have to show us that they know how to use their decisive strike, use their exhaustions, use everything to their disposal. We'll have to see. Welcome back. Hey, you had intro last time. It is my turn.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. And we are taking a moment. We have switched sides. We have Insomnia playing Killer against the Survivor team Eunoia. They have a result. They have a result to go for. They just need to pop 3 gens, the Survivors. They need to do 3 gens to win because the incredible result that was set by Raiden last game. However, Fats will be taking a fat chainsaw right to the face, going down, caught out of position. That is an incredible start, and oh my god, another incredible start. Oh, nice. Getting an M1 tag right there. Sponge, now injured. Fats on the ground. Raiden somewhere near Shaq, right over here. Oh my god, and now we're in overcharge. This is an incredible start for the Billy. Exactly what you wanted. Oh god, misses that chainsaw right there, but I am on the edge of my seat. I am scared for these survivors. We'll have to see if they can pull it back, but they go down right there too. Oh my god.
This is an insane start. We were just talking about it. A few gens can make a big difference because from the first glimpse it sounds so easy when you're saying, guys, we need 3 generators to win this trial, but then you are looking forward to a very insane Billy, and it seems like Insomnia has an insane Billy as well. Metox here now being able to rotate as the first survivor towards the generator, trying to get a little bit done. The other survivors were just too busy with the heals and the resets. Metox just in time around the corner here as well. You cannot be safe at any given point on the Blood Lodge. It just takes a few seconds and the Billy is already on him once again. Garafa here into the chase on the Funbus, realizes that the survivors are a little bit too safe and it would potentially waste too much time. Of course, that is a setback now for the killer because you have to go cross that once again. Does manage to get the Shack Hunter out of the way. Is thrown by Fats and Fats doesn't make it anywhere. Is going down here right after being caught on the Shack as well. Garafa now playing a little bit of Minecraft, farming some wood for the base, but right after that, he's going back towards the next survivor. He wants more. You can tell the energy Insomnia is putting on the table here. Keep in mind, everyone, 3 generators are needed for the win. 2 gens looking to tie. So far, we could be happy for the side of Eunoia if they get 1 generator out of the way. Really love the surveillance choice on the perk side as well, telling us that Garafa is aware that the win condition is all about the generators here. Though, Sponge 1v1 with an insane chase now, definitely bringing the survivors back.
Definitely wasting just a little bit more time. That's all you can ask for a Billy set right there. He is an incredibly scary killer to actually hold chases against. Fats gets picked up off of the ground. We don't know if Garafa was thinking that they had decisive strike and did not want to risk it. Wants to get these down. Has crowd control as well. So that vaulted window means that you cannot vault it again. Fats does get healed, however, and the first generator does pop. That's important. We're fighting for these generators. We need to get 3 done, so that's 1 off the docket right there. A third of the way to the win con. This will be the heal onto Metox, going right up on the hook. Sponge still on the ground. Fats is healed, so does not have the opportunity to be M1 to put on the ground, but the chainsaws are coming through, and they are coming through fast. Garafa ignores Raiden over there, knows that Fats could be the only one to go for the save, and does spot them out over here, taking a very nice chainsaw to the back with the built-in borrowed time, making it so that won't result in the tunnel out happening too early. Gets the Billy zoned on the other side of that pallet. Incredible patience from Fats, and will decide to leave that chase. Billy is a crazy killer. You can just hit and run as much as you possibly want because he can get across the map in 2 seconds. Finds another survivor still here. Yep, this is Sponge. Hasn't been hooked just yet. We're going for the fresh hook win con. Placing these survivors onto the ground does take some time, however, and that time could be better spent sitting on generators. We do know that whenever they let go of a generator, it will highlight it, give us an idea of where the survivors are because of surveillance, but the survivors are just having to fight for another generator. This Billy is putting out immense pressure into the map.
1 generator is done. A little bit of light at the end of the generator tunnel, we could say here. Raiden somehow not immediately dying, in all these little seconds here come into clutch potentially. Sometimes it's 4-5 seconds until the completion of a generator that decide the win or the loss. Raiden is also fresh hook, so we have 2 minutes of hanging time here on that survivor, earning a little bit of pressure for the generators, for the survivor team. So far, a great trial from both sides, that's for sure. A little bit of a problem right here. Needs to go into the next one onto Sponge, but he does make it back towards the Funbus. A difficult tile, as we've seen earlier. Garafa lost a lot of time here against Sponge and wants to make sure that this doesn't happen again, therefore leaving this entirely. Let's check on the other survivors. We have a quarter of a generator over here, 10% at the Shack. Raiden now getting interrupted, so the survivor team slowly on the way towards getting the pressure in and towards making some noticeable steps here, but it's not something too strong yet. Garafa still with the main pressure, still with the main dominant role, and catching Sponge now. And even though he's going into the locker, that will be the next hook stage here hook stage number 4. Ray, I do think it's realistic that the Survivor team is taking the second generator of the game for the time here, but if Garaffa plays like this, he might have a chance to stop them.
Yeah, I was about to say Fats was diligently working on that generator right there, but is still sort of caught out. Oh, crowd control means that window is still blocked. This could be Fats on the ground right here, and there's 2 injured survivors out there. We know Claudette was near Shaq. That right there, this surveillance value is insane. It's alerting Garaffa, knowing that the survivors haven't hopped on that generator that had a ton of progress, letting them know 2 things. That generator's hopping, and this survivor is most likely getting picked up. And Garaffa capitalized on that information beautifully, getting back there to pressure them, making them panic just a little bit. Even right here, this surveillance value is insane. It's letting Garaffa know that this is exactly where the Claudette is. Mind you, might have still had the game sense anyway, but it's still huge to have that confirmation. So now they can just go around, pressure the map. Will they make it to this pallet? No! We'll be going down right there in that instance. The survivors are just fighting for just every little bit possible. I'm not certain that this could go either way. They have a lot of generator progress, but this Billy is just everywhere at once. Yeah, Ace is just right there. He's just done. He's just out of the game. He's on the ground. They're trying so hard to fight for this, but the killer is fighting harder. Look at them getting caught out of position. A lot of fillers are going away as well. They're just having to keep back and forth, but it's not enough.
It's becoming a little bit drama here in this first set of the grand final already, because we are so close on at least getting the tie condition done, and then at the same time it feels like we are so far away. Garaffa on the other hand, he does have the pick out of the locker, but he cannot go for the hook stages because the Survivor team is so close onto the gens, and he does know that every single second is being used. We see it wonderfully here. The Survivor that was working on the generator, after beautiful communication on the Survivor end, already on the top of that hill, making sure that the Billy doesn't have instant access to a chase. Garaffa trying to move around the fun bus, getting a little bit too greedy on the curve there, eventually bumping into the tile, and now we're back on the fun bus. Honestly, if you're asking me, the nightmare tile for Garaffa. He's losing so much time here, and Sponge 1v1 time and time again, wasting so much time from the Billy, this time coming from the other direction. Survivor perfectly, instead of moving onto the hill, this time moving towards the main methods here with a great understanding for the surroundings. And this is what makes it hard, even when you're playing a strong killer like the Billy. If the survivors are not giving you anything, and if they are playing super aware and super careful, there's not much that you can do. Maybe now Raiden with the down on the shack here, but I don't think we can go for the hook stage once again. We are too worried about these gens. It is crazy how much pressure we have.
And that's what the killer needs. He needs quick downs at this point. There's 2 generators out there with a lot of progress. So what needs to happen is, I believe, 1 generator at least is going to get done. Is Sponge going to be able to get his gen done too? It's looking like the win con is being secured. No, he didn't commit. That is insane. You commit to there, you win the set. Sponge, I guess, didn't believe that they were going to be able to win. Maybe they believed that they wanted more? Because Metrox is up and in the game and back over where the survivors were slugged. It is looking like the survivors, even though the middle game right here took a very, very long time, it's looking like it's gonna be secured, because all they need to do is 1 more generator, and Shaq had progress. Right here next to this bus has progress. Oh my god! Dude, this bus right here is the MVP of this game. Sponge and Bus could not have picked a better duo.
It's a really insane turning now once again. This is generator number 3. I thought for some reason there was a little bit of extra time, but no, after the slugs and after taking the pressure again, the Survivor team ultimately coming out on the stronger side here, with 4 generators even making it more and more clear that Eunoia is the favorite position for this grand final, at least when we are looking onto the first set. And of course, they will try to ride this wave now. You can imagine it as a really, really important factor coming into this grand final, realizing we are the stronger team. We can keep Insomnia in check. And now, Ray and me talked about in the campfire chat, the Nurse, kind of similar to the Hillbilly. You have quick pressure on your survivor side from the get-go. You don't have a lot of time to sort yourself on the gens and to coordinate yourself. All of this is basically the same as when playing against the Hillbilly. So Eunoia here definitely in the position of the advantage. Important is now that they are going to use that. And a very impactful step could be done by getting all the generators done, because Ray so far on the Billy, that is a really rare occasion with the pallet save here though. So they're fighting for the escapes here.
You need that mentality. Hey man, we outed your Billy. That is something that hardly ever happens. Granted, this killer was playing for a win condition. He jumps in the locker again, dude. Next to the bus. This bus is a menace. We'll be taking that hook right there, though. The survivors actually have quite a bit of progress. Let's split. They're just powering through the Fanatophobia. Mind you, when it's powered like this, making it so it takes 20% longer to get these gens done. But they are saying that it's worth the 20% to not take the time to heal one survivor, especially because there's just no fillers left on this map, right? There are very little resources that the survivors can use to prolong their lives. Goes down there for a wonderful chainsaw, slugging the no-miter, classic. And the survivors are just playing as aggressive as they want. They have already won this set, does not matter what happens at this point. They are so far ahead though, doing such a good job of still just not going down here. A lot of fillers used, but you know, this is a little bit of a pallet town. Oh, are they committing? Nice, getting all the generators done. That is a huge W to take out of this set right here. Grapple played a very good Billy, but those survivors, they just chunked through that middle game and was able to get every single generator done. Right now, we can't tell exactly how many hook stages have come through because it is bugged on the spectator side, but it is definitely a really good result. Oh, hooked everybody, rated on death hook right there. The survivors are definitely going to be taking this W with a smile on their face going into the next set because they have to play survivor once again. Insomnia will be staying on the killer in their Nurse pick set. We'll have to see if they are locked in. And by telling with all of these jukes and their movement and their macro, I would definitely say that they are.
Yeah, now it's going to be a very deciding break also for these two teams, Eunoia and Insomnia. They have round about 4 to 5 minutes to set up for the Cold Tower Nurse, so Insomnia needs to leave this set behind. You basically need to ignore it entirely. Grand final starts now. Nurse is a killer that you can do really nice performances with, and then you're good to go. Best of 6 basically is what we are playing today. On the other hand, Eunoia, maybe a little bit of a tweak on the survivor side because you're staying on the survivor side now. We have seen them taking quite a lot of risk. We have seen multiple times a slug across the team and then coming back. And it is not a guarantee that you are coming back. That's the problem. And we got to make sure on the side of Eunoia that they are going to show this this awareness that it's not a guaranteed comeback when having multiple slugs. So maybe at the one or the other point making sure that you are a little bit more careful. Let's find out what's happening, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll see you straight on the Cold Tower after a short break. Welcome back, everyone. Hopefully louder this time. We heard your feedback, and Ray is not going to steal my intro this time. Indeed, we have properly discussed who's going to take it.
It was mine.
Yeah, not running into a little bit of confusion there anymore. And you do not even have time on the Nurse set to make a little joke at the beginning, because the first injury, not first down instantly coming out here. Easy is playing it very easy, it seems like, and does go for a great performance. Raiden with the injury. And Ray, if you remember my words 4 minutes ago when we finished this trial, I was speaking about that we have seen Eunoia taking quite some risk in the first game with the Billy, and that this can backfire against the Nurse. And so far, I don't see them taking it more chill. So if the Nurse doesn't make a mistake here and does capitalize on it, you might find yourself in a snowball.
Yep, and it definitely seems so, because she was able to give one tag, almost another one. If Netox didn't have sprint burst, he was cooked there. The survivors are sort of spread out here. Do we have Ruin? We do. There is Ruin on the killer side, but it was cleansed already. I didn't hear that. So we only have Dying Light and Eruption, although Eruption being activated sometimes is incredible. And the survivors did have to take the time to actually cleanse that Ruin. And the Nurse right here with the fantastic blinks is just speeding up right here. Yes, of course, the survivor was going to 1-for-1, but if you give them a tag early enough, that means they have to just go ahead and do it. So that time that could have spent with the survivor hanging up on hook is now gone. Sponge activates live. We didn't even see that come through because the Nurse blinked right on top of Ace, who tried to get the distance right here. A Decisive Strike could be coming through. You do see Decisive Strike and live go hand in hand. Will we be seeing that? No, and I believe a wiggle right early after pickup right that definitely confirms it for the killer that Decisive Strike is not on Ace. So the survivor's playing a little bit differently than the meta, actually, because we saw that Decisive Strike was on the Renato right there, who had sprint burst. That's so interesting. They're playing a little bit different. Overcome on the Deli survivor right there. Oh, that's actually really, really smart, because if you take a tag early, that means you can overcome to the hook and absolutely for sure get the deliverance. So now Sponge is in a better hook spot, I would say. He is close to the top side of the map, where there are a couple generators that are sitting right there, but that means that they could try to complete mid generators, which they need to do, because now they're sitting at just 4 gens. It was almost 5. But those other 2 survivors, they are injured. Fats does take the overcome distance to try to get to hook. Will it be enough? It's not even enough! And that means that Sponge will be dying on hook, because you can't even get in there. The survivors are injured. The Nurse can sit right in front of Ace, which is what she's planning. That is the elimination onto him. 4 gens. 4 gens into the game. Right here, though, this one could get done, so it might be 3, but that is super early. Super early.
Yeah, this is rough now, because you needed that save, and not only are you not getting that rescue and the survivor back into the game, on top of that you're also having this additional hook stage by Fats. Yes, he had the deliverance, so he didn't worry too much, but still, it is going to be a very easy hook stage, basically, that is just coming on top of the progress that the killer already made. Talking about the progress, we do have a little bit of it here on this generator. Metox doesn't want to take too much risk, but then runs into the killer. Not entirely sure. Ray, I'm almost certain he would have been able to complete that generator, and if you then take attack after completing the gen and then running towards the main building, you would be kinda safe with the location, but you would have the objective done. Now you're located half somewhere in the coal tower. It's not guaranteed that Fats is getting the gen, and we are on 4K scenario slowly. So I believe that was a huge mistake on the survivor side right there, not going for the generator when they had the time to do so. Easy now, obviously aware where Fats is. They do have a little bit of luck here, that's safe to say, because the fact that the Nurse checked on the top side and then Fats had enough time for the rescue was not guaranteed at all. This stun here being important by Raiden to gain a little bit of extra time. Really rough for Eunoia. They could have been out and 4K'd right here. Now they can be really lucky that they are back in the game. We'll see how many more generators they can do, but they definitely need to put the priorities straight.
That miscalculation by the Nurse as to where Fats was in that moment in time did allow them to try to get another generator done. They did complete that one, which is actually incredibly huge, because in a set like Nurse, every single generator counts. Getting 4K'd at 4 would have been an insane result to get against a team like this. We have seen them play, we have seen them do it, but right now, are we going to be able to get another generator done? This is really far away from the hook here. The Nurse does find Fats, pushing them off of that generator right there. Metox doesn't even have time to completely finish the heal before having to go for the save onto Raiden, who is in the basement. Now the Nurse needs to get another down that completely early. Oh my god! A blink and a swing such as that. That's running right into that right there. Incredibly good blink from the killer. Now places Nancy right next to the generator with a lot of progress. The save does happen onto Raiden, and now they are all the way across the map. Kixis has Eruption. The next down that happens will cause that to be regressed by about 10%. Does get the heal though. The 2 survivors are healed. That means they could potentially stealth. They could potentially have just a little bit longer of a chase. 6 stacks of Dying Light, making it so the generators that will be progressed take a little bit extra time. So the survivors right now have to make a decision in exactly how they want to play. Avoiding a hit right there, using the scrim for so very well. Nurse does not have eyes onto Raiden, who was able to slip by upside the map. Will decide to possibly either hop on a generator or go for the save. The survivors here have to play their macro incredibly carefully, hopefully not getting too tapped by the Nurse, who is between the Nancy and the survivors. Unfortunately, Claudette has to start a generator from 0. So this time that is spent has to be spent carefully. We don't know if Renato is going to be able to get this save in time. The Nurse is actually just straight up leaving. Yep, it's rewarded because the save does not happen. Renato touched the generator for 0.2 seconds, but now they're in a position where it's only a 2v1. So the next chase that starts has to last just long enough for another generator to get done. We'll have to see if the survivors have that juice. We saw that Metox here did stop by and touch that generator that Nancy died on. It has a little bit of progress. So Claudette might have the opportunity to rotate or to just sit on this generator right here. But I believe the Nurse has an idea. Yes, is she coming over? It does seem so. Yeah, she's over here, sees the Claudette right behind there, gives a tag, and that will be that generator not being progressed as well. We'll have to see if Raiden can fight for their life, trying to get one more done. Oh, right there! And auto aimed into the wall. Claudette E, panic E. Oh, do we have another chase that lasts just a little bit longer? These blinks are incredibly important. Misses that hit, though. Metox could be working on that generator at 1. It was so close the last time we saw it. Will the Nurse even have time to come back and pressure this if she decides to leave the chase? She could be trying to go for the down with the Eruption. No, she's deciding that Raiden was too much of a juicer and is going to try and get this generator done. Will it be done in time? Oh, close to the grab, but it is not coming through. And that will be Metox getting another generator done. That could be huge for the next match.
Absolutely, absolutely. Getting an additional generator out of the way in a Nurse set where it's not guaranteed at all is so huge and so unfortunate for Easy. We could see the grab on the spectator POV, but then the hit validation decided that the survivor had let go in time. Therefore, Metox here with generator number 3. Now, of course, Raiden also playing a deciding factor, because in case you finish right here, 4K2 is something that can happen on a Nurse set. And if Raiden would be able to make an endgame escape here, you would put additional pressure on your opponent team, because then a 4K2 wouldn't be enough, because then the stages that Raiden is taking out of the door here would break the tie into the advantage of Eunoia. Therefore, we need to find that final survivor. We obviously have a little bit of time, 2 minutes 30 on the bleed out timer of Metox there. We don't even have to hook that survivor, because a bleed out just awards all the hook stages for the win conditions, even the individual hook stage for win condition number 3. Easy expecting Raiden to be in the basement. Meanwhile, Raiden has touched the generator for a little bit, then potentially getting told by the team, don't try that, you won't have enough time. And yeah, I do think Raiden will try to set up for an endgame here, and I do think from a first glimpse, the doors are not too horrible, right?
They could potentially get a survivor out. That does matter in the case of a tie. Stages out the door, out through hatch. That means that if the killer were to 4K2 at the same amount of like the 4K2, same amount of generators, but one team gets a survivor out through a door, that could mean the win for them. See, there's the door right there. I didn't see where the other door was. Oh wait, no, I think it's on the same side. Never mind. I don't think. Oh no, it's on the opposite side. Oh, the Claudette hopped back on the generator. Girl.
10%. Oh my god!
Oh well, look, there's a nurse in the distance. She sees her. Oh no! Raiden making the decision that possibly trying to get the generator could be beneficial, but instead gives away their location, and that will be the nurse hot on their trail. Possibly ending this chase. Not too many obstacles left in the game, but you know what? Let's see the juice. Let's see it. Oh no, I cast a curse it. Never mind. Well, you know what? That will be a healthy 4K2 right there. The nurse not really sure who to pick up. Maybe he's just trying to get Metox to bleed out before they pick, so that there's no possible chance that they can get out through the hatch. Yep, it seems so. Just buying a couple more seconds for that survivor to bleed out onto the ground before they decide to hook Raiden. I don't believe we even saw like a deliverance this game, did we?
And Fats with it.
Oh, okay.
It was a little bit of a balance out earlier when Fats went down right next to Sponge, when we had the problem with the unhook there that didn't come through. Then Fats had to basically bring himself back. That's why the deliverance didn't really come in clutch this trial, because it was not really used. Like, usually deliverance is used to not have a teammate rotate for you and give your survivor team a little bit of extra time. And here in this trial, deliverance unfortunately only worked as a compensation for the mistake on the unhook. That's why we never really felt this deliverance impact, these additional seconds that are going to support the game plan of the survivor team. 4K2 gens, definitely a usual result, we could say. It's not that wild here, but 4K1 is usually what we see from most of the survivor teams. So the fact that Insomnia was able to have one additional gen standing means a lot here, because now Insomnia needs 4 generators completed on the other side, which means they can ignore a 3 gen. And this is something that is usually coming in clutch on the call tower. We usually have this beautiful 3 gen setup with the main building, then left and right 1 generator each, or a triangle on 1/2. So for example, main building, right side of main building, and then a little bit towards the midsection. Also at the shack side, we sometimes have a 3 gen. And being able to ignore something like that is huge, because that is usually what comes in clutch when we have all these 4K1 win conditions. Therefore, Insomnia has a good reason to be... we have a good reason to go into the upcoming trial with some confidence here. Insomnia 4 gens, and they take the set point. We will show you that, ladies and gentlemen, right after a very short intermission.
We have taken a moment, we have switched sides, and now we have Eunoia on the killer against the survivor team, Insomnia. We're seeing Raiden once again playing nurse. We saw them play Billy last game. We'll have to see if their blinks are as dastardly as their Billy curves. Now we don't have an intense start like we did last game, immediately finding all of the survivors. Oh, we did find one right here. Never mind, I spoke too soon. An M1 tag being on the Claudette right here means that the hook stages can start incredibly incredibly quickly. We have a lot of rocks right here, making it a little bit difficult for the nurse to get a line of sight right there. But the nurse, being incredibly patient, does use their second blink just yet. And the Claudette is trying to be a little bit cheeky with their pathing, but will result in still going down. Now we have our first hook happening onto Claudette right here, who was able to stealth just a little bit to the other side, but not enough. Ruin is in effect, meaning that generators not being worked on will be... Oh my goodness, and our first hook is the Decisive Strike Survivor. If the survivors played this incredibly well, we could see a very, very different result than what we saw last game. So... Oh, except if we get found out right here. Oh, a swing and a miss. Will not be taking that tag right there. The killer is very, very far away from the hook. The save happens for completely free. Misses that hit as well. That is so unfortunate for the nurse. Now she is in the middle of the map. No chases, no tunnel outs, and all the survivors healed. They are back at square one, but they don't have a lot of generator progress to speak of just yet. So the killer is not out of the races just yet.
Now going for the... Oh, there's a Claudette behind this window. I didn't even see that survivor. I only saw Garaffa in the distance. Nico here going to be as fast as possible towards the top side. Raiden not really getting the control in this Cold Tower match, though. We do have a little bit of an opportunity left and right now, finally, with the first down here, but already losing a generator for that raid. That's usually not what we see in a nurse set. The nurse is usually taking 1 or 2 hook stages minimum before the first completed objective is coming through. That's going to be a very nice hook for Raiden, though. We are going to have it right in front of the main building. We have access to all 3 generators that are located there on the top side. But keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, the survivor team can ignore a 3-gen. They only need 4 completed generators for the win, so it is a little bit of an advantage. Yet it's not going to wait as much based on the win condition. Beautiful decision here by Samurai to leave this generator early. Great awareness for the surroundings, making sure that Raiden has to take quite some extra distance. Will take the tag, but has overcome and already wasted a significant amount of time from the nurse. Reset came in almost on Neko, the unhook for sure, and that's going to be now the down onto the second survivor into this trial. Yeah, it does seem to become more clear here now. Raiden definitely not able to be the dominant part compared with the Billy. I feel like we see 2 completely different trials here between the Billy from Raiden and the nurse from Raiden, so perhaps not his ideal killer that we had picked here. And we're now going to see the heal coming through, 90% on this generator here as well. So we have the reset and the second generator being completed, which is looking great for our survivor team.
We don't have the tunnel out happening from the killer, meaning that 4 survivors are still left to do whatever they want in the trial. Mia's generator gets done. Claudette is comfortably sitting far away from the hook. Decisive Strike not actually getting any use, but that is still such a good trade-off because she didn't even need to do that. She actually got away for free. So right now, the killer only has a fresh hook sitting right there and is deciding to camp this as well, but the tunnel out could be happening too little too late because Claudia is sitting over there working on generators. If she is getting hers to completion, that will be the Tycon met. And even right here, right now, the save happens for absolutely free. That means that that survivor right there has their distance to take and they can run away, very, very far away. Nancy, Deliverance still up in the game, and right now, even here, Garaffa is not even the tunnel out, has not been hooked once. So this time spent right here, it's just going to be on another fresh hook survivor that you probably can't camp because the survivors are just going to sit on gens. They can afford to let the survivors sit because it's not going to be too punished. They're not going to be out of the game quick enough for a 3v1 to even matter in this scenario. So right now, Raiden is just trying to get these downs, but and not even right there. The swing comes up short, and there we go. Tycon has been met right here. But that even means right here we have a survivor down on the ground, but this is a fresh hook survivor. Even if the nurse would take the time to place them up on the hook, that means that Oh man, right there. There it is. The survivors get another generator done though and had so much progress. And that will be securing the win for Insomnia in the second set in their killer pick. Very well played from these survivors. They saw the weaknesses in this nurse's armor and they hit hard.
Indeed. Now it is important for Raiden, though, that we are going to keep some survivors, some eliminations in this trial here. Insomnia is playing out of their minds at the moment, and if you would come from the 1-0 Billy set as Team Eunoia, and then you're losing the nurse in such a drastic way to Insomnia. Insomnia is not only going to tie it up, Insomnia will feel really, really great now. And then you can tell yourself, well, the Billy set, it was a good start by Eunoia, but nothing more. And we see them in the distance going for the reset, not becoming too confident. I like that as well here. Not trying too much, not going too risky, instead prioritizing the heal first, and then already with one survivor on the main building generator, and 40% is still an already significant impact here. Having Garafa, the balanced landing survivor, on the main building is another smart choice, even though Garafa doesn't seem to worry too much about the nurse popping up next to them and using the balanced landing a little bit later. Raiden now in the difficult position. He needs to defend the generator in the main building. At the same time, he wants to look back and taking the potential rescuer with an injury as well. Garafa being injured right here, running downstairs in the main building, trying to locate him a little bit. Raiden going off the sound here. Where is Garafa? But not being able to go for an instant down. Yeah, Insomnia's survivor team playing fantastic here. They have made a great comeback. They have shown us how you counter a nurse like this, and it also shows us that even though both killers bring a lot of pressure on the table, and from the gameplay in the early game they are comparable, the mechanics are fundamentally different. And I think it is safe to say that Raiden is a lot more of a Billy friend than a nurse one.
Even now in this endgame right here, the survivors are not out for the count. They want to get the best result possible. However, in their efforts to just get the win con met, they have allowed the nurse to get a tiny bit of a 3-gen. It is not incredibly tight. However, the gens aren't too... Well, you know what? Actually, I take it back. Never mind. I thought that generator at the bottom side of the map was a little bit closer than it was. They actually are doing so incredibly well, even though they already met the win con. They got those middle generators done, which is insane to even see them go for. Usually in nurse sets, S-tier sets such as these, you're just trying to fight tooth and nail to get that win con. You don't care what the end game looks like, but these survivors were able to get that actually sorted out. They didn't get 3-gen at all. This will be the tunnel out happening finally with one generator left, but it will come at the cost of the last gen getting popped. We might see some outs here. Very well played. We can definitely see why this team picked this as their killer set. They may have lost the first one, but they are not losing the second one. And that is the sort of confidence you need, because we are now going into the third set, which is Demogorgon Dire. What is so different about Demogorgon than the first two sets that we've already seen so far?
Yeah, I mean, now we are having this insane turning point, right? So this Billy and Nurse and now Demo, you touched on it shortly. It will be completely different now. And based on the fact that we believed Billy and Nurse, like, kind of same early game, kind of same pressure, so whoever takes the first set might take the second one as well. Here we have already seen an insane twist, an insane tweak. So the Demogorgon at the moment being now basically the answer of, okay, who is faster in putting this quick gameplay aside and remembering how the basic mechanics in DBD work. The good old mind gaming, the good old hit taking, the more coordinated teams in terms of body blocking is now going to win, and not like on the Nurse or the Billy, the more coordinated team according to the communication and the generator positioning. And I believe that Insomnia, for me, has the little bit of an advantage here, because Eunoia has picked the Demogorgon, so usually that is always an advantage when your killer is played next. But Insomnia has just learned first that they have a very good chance keeping up with the pressure of Eunoia. They've played a fantastic, even great juicing, let's say, against a weaker killer, in my opinion, is confidence. Demogorgon is a confidence set. And when you are coming in with wide shoulders and with a great spirit and with a great mindset and say, we're going to smash that, then you will be successful. Therefore, I see Insomnia in the advantage here for this trial.
We'll definitely have to see for ourselves how it goes. Don't go anywhere, anybody. We will be right back.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Azeroth's Resting Place. A very interesting map with 2 bottlenecks and great generator setups. Usually 3 and 4 gens are possible on this map, and this helps weaker killers like the Demogorgon. On the other hand, survivor teams having a lot of resources, a lot of size with the map here available as well, and usually, obviously, their meat shields when they start to take body blocks for each other. And for that, you need confidence, and Garaffa, Neko, Samurai, and Easy have good reasons to feel confident after taking it back, after losing the Nurse set to Eunoia. They have shown us a fantastic set, so we are currently on a 1-1 tie going into this third one on the Azeroth's Resting Place. Demogorgon with a successful mind game, though. That should be enough with a shred for the window. That's indeed the case. So Neko taking a relatively early tag, still reasonable, though. You also have the shred.
Oh my god!
Neko, what's happening? Mind gamed at the shack with the pallets still available. That is horrendous.
That is crazy. Yep, getting hit like that, a little bit of a mind game moonwalk. Jake throwing the pallet early, throws it on the wrong side of the pallet. Even then, panic vaulted back, could have dodged a little bit to the side, but the Demogorgon will be taking that very first down in stride. Uses their only slowdown perk available to them. Pop goes a Weasel. Scourge Hook, Pain Resonance, not allowed in Demogorgon sets. That will mean that generator that had a lot of progress will regress just a little bit. This is nerfed pop we're talking about, so it doesn't lose that much progress in kicking it. But right there, that early hook right there could make the difference, because Demogorgon is a very loopable killer. You don't know what the killer next trial is going to be able to do, what kind of chaining tiles are available to them. And Raiden right here, fantastic start, has an eagle eyes view of that side of the map. Azeroth's Resting Place, shaped like a bone, has a little bit of bulbs on each side with tight looping in the middle. Garaffa right here now, working on this generator a little bit. Oh my god, that control key use right there was insane. Will not be able to replicate it, however. Taking attack, Neko goes into struggle as well. This is an incredibly bad position for the survivors. They gave a tag for free right there, and they don't even have a lot of gens like being progressed, and Neko will be going into struggle phase right there. That is so close to an elimination super early in a Demogorgon set.
Now going to be a little bit of chaos here, trying to find this survivor. On the other hand, you have the generator completed. In your back, you have the basement survivor that is about to be rescued. Hopefully, if the survivor team does find a sprinter who's making it across the map, Samurai will not reach that in time, I'm afraid. So it does look like Neko is actually going to stay the losing part of this chaos that we have just seen in the midsection. And the killer, if he's smart, and I love to see that he are not going for the instant injury, because otherwise potentially Easy would have been able to make it into the basement with the sprint boost you are getting after taking the injury. Therefore now a little bit of a delayed injury, but making sure that Neko is going to be eliminated. And an elimination with 3 generators remaining doesn't look too good at all. Usually we have 3, 4, even the end games sometimes, and then a no one escapes death helping out to catch that first survivor. So the fact that Raiden DBD is now on a 3v1 scenario with 3 generators remaining is insane. For some reason the pallet doesn't want to break. Maybe it's made out of steel, and Raiden instead decides that he's going over towards that other generator. But so far, great showing by the Demogorgon, and what we also shouldn't forget is the fact that we have only injured survivors here.
All the survivors gave some tags out of position. That means that the Demogorgon's next chase is practically cut in half. A lot of these filler pallets are being crunched through, but there is still a lot more where that came from. Raiden, trying not to spend too long chasing one survivor, does leave this, however, meaning that the Claudette will be getting that done, and little does he know that these 2 survivors are on that same side that Claudette is on, and they are resetting. So Raiden is completely on the opposite side of the map to where everybody else is. Rancor value there showing us where everybody is. The generator does get done. We see the 2 healing survivors over here by the not so fun bus split in half. Will be taking the chase onto the injured survivor. That's a good idea. We need to get another down quick as possible. Charges the shred, fakes it, will not be missing that, and will be taking another down onto Garafa. The survivors were able to choke out 3 gens. Demogorgon is still a lower tier killer. He still has to chase everybody, but the killer in a fantastic position. An elimination already happening. Survivor up on the hook. Easy over here still injured, and Samurai out there left to do gens. Cross the map. It is a very, very long map. And the Demogorgon has a little bit of a teleport ability. Yes, we see that there is the Demogorgon right over there, kicking that generator, applying Pop Goes the Weasel. Is still looking around here, might have an idea as to where Samurai is. Leaves a little bit of scratch marks and alerts the Demogorgon to where their position is, but was using Balanced Landing to get a little bit more distance. These filler pallets right here. Yep, it is just going to throw them, chug right through them. Demogorgon has to spend the time to break it. He isn't an S tier, so the reset is going to probably have it. Oh, great stat! And it's taking a tag right through that. Ping is definitely a factor in these comp games right here, and Samurai is feeling the effects of that.
Now running up towards the next filler pallet here. We need a good amount of time by Samurai in this chase. We need to make sure that we are going to give time to these survivors that are, by the way, not on the generators. They are trying to sort themselves at the moment. One player is rotating back towards the top side. That can be an important strategy. Staying split between the top and bottom, making sure that you are having not both survivors at the same half of the map, because otherwise the Demogorgon will be able to lock you down in place, since we have the 2 bottlenecks here. On the other hand, though, it was a little bit surprising to see that the survivors are not taking care of the generators immediately. The efficiency definitely dropping there. That's what we can see on the bottom left. We're still on 2 generators remaining, even though we already have an elimination and a new fresh hook stage as well. Claudette now rotating in, trying to bring the 3rd survivor as quick as possible back into the map. There should be time for the reset as well, as the Demogorgon is currently trying to find Garafa here, and he is successful in doing so. Nice crouch tech coming out. Demogorgon not getting the hit right here, having this pallet available now. So the survivor team of Insomnia really doing a good job in the chases that we see so far. The question is only how much do you suffer still from losing a teammate that early in the trial? Definitely going to be an impacting factor here, that we are seeing the 3v1 scenario so early and for a long time. Though survivor teams, since realizing they lost the survivor, for me, more careful. They are making sure they are dropping the pallets early. They are trying to spread as much as they can. If they only would find the efficiency on the gens now, Ray, then I think we would be able to look more positive into the future here.
For sure. They need to get the best result that they possibly can out of this, but with the chases happening like this, the filler pallets being crunched through, the survivors might not have... Oh god, this is a 50-50 right there. I always love to see what the survivors plan to do on these LT vaults right there. It's always just like A complete 50-50. Will they vault? Will they fake it? We don't know. Am I overthinking this? Probably. I'm just gonna swing. But the swing and the miss. Claudette going down on the same side of where the generators are is kind of a misplay though, because you saw whenever Samurai took their tag, they ran to the opposite side of the map so they could avoid a situation like this, where the Demogorgon can protect the gens and protect the Hook Survivor at the same time. The Demogorgon doesn't even need to go all the way across the map to the generator Samurai is working on, because look at that, we have Ace right here, charging at the shred. Tries to avoid it, but is able to get that tag right there. See, these small tags that are happening out of place are huge, because it takes such a long time to be able to heal, and it also means that you're not able to get the unhook for free. And the survivor is just working on that generator over there, but even a 4K1 is an incredibly good result from the Demogorgon, so if he decides to let that generator go without contesting it even a little bit, it is still almost fine, because Demogorgon sets really shouldn't be ending up in a 4K1. The survivors are trying to bring it back best as they can. We'll have to see if they're able to get the last generator done, but even in this situation, you have a survivor. They just went to struggle on hook. That's another potential tunnel out. Graphic here is injured. This generator does get done, but the last 3 gens are an incredibly tight regen. Ooh, Raiden is also planting down a portal, teleporting, trying to get back, maybe, possibly, potentially before the save can happen for free. No, that portal was not close enough to the hook right there. Doesn't even have the distance to be able to get forced hezi because it was used on that survivor that was downed over there. But Raiden here does find the tunnel out, so this could be the 2v1 happening. Yes, it does seem like that's going to indeed. No decisive strike, no second chance perks, and this is now the 2v1 with a tight regen. It's not looking like the survivors will be able to get another generator done, but who knows? Maybe they'll be able to lead Raiden on an incredibly long juicer chase all the way across the other side of the map.
Elimination coming through, sealing the deal, question mark, 2 survivors standing, one of them injured, a whole generator to go, and the injured survivor also being found on the main building up here on the northern side of the Azeroth resting place. Rough so far for the survivor game, that's why he's called Rough. And that's going to be the down now by the Demogorgon, the other survivor not even on a generator, so we potentially see the endgame strategy here, trying to go for a 3-gen defense in the upcoming trial, 4K1, and then breaking the tie by the end game stages out of the door. Bro, I don't think you need to call for that generator, but he does make 1% of progress into the shack, ladies and gentlemen. Hold me! That was a very, very insane play there by Samurai. So close of getting that 5th generator done in the shack. Raiden slowly able to celebrate, if you're asking me. Demogorgon has this great mobility also with the portals, so it is a little bit easier to defend the exit gates in the end, but of course, especially as an M1 killer, you would really like to have this advantage of not worrying about the exit gates, and he was believing there's someone in the locker. That was not the case,
nice
but now
spot.
we find the survivor right here. Raiden waiting out patiently with the shred attack, and that will bring it actually to a very clean 4K, meaning that the killer of Insomnia would need a 4K with 2 gens standing. Ray, a very hard task.
That is an incredibly hard task, considering that we're talking about Demogorgon, a killer that usually doesn't 4K. Just that elimination happens so incredibly early. And even then, like, going into the match knowing, the survivors knowing that they just need to do all 5 generators, that is an incredibly good mentality to have, that you know exactly what you need to do. You can formulate your game plan around that instead of just going into a set fresh without a win con set. It's always easier to play the second set, but that's usually why when you pick a killer, you have to play them first. You have to show what you're made of. Raiden definitely showcased their ability on the Demogorgon to get these downs quickly and to play the macro efficiently. Is trying to find out the slug survivors, just has immaculate eyeballs, able to spot everybody from very far away, will be taking all of these hooks, a very, very earned prize. 4K1 on the Demogorgon, very wonderfully played. You'll love to see those incredible loops come through. We'll have to see what the team Insomnia's killer has for us in store. They're not allowed to change their builds, everybody. They have to lock them in the day before, so they can't run endgame perks such as Noed if they didn't choose to before. Even in this scenario, Noed would do absolutely nothing because you need to 4K before the last generator gets done. And he's just sitting right on the hatch. He's saying, please let me go. I want to get another state for my survivor team, but Raiden will be taking the survivor, placing them up on the hook. A very clean 4K1. Very well played. And we're going to take a moment, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to switch sides. We're going to have Insomnia on the killer, showing us what they can do. Can they 4K with 2 generators left to win this set? Will they 4K1 to tie this set? Or will they be losing this set? Stick around to find out after a short break. Hello everybody and welcome back to the 6th match of the day. We have taken a moment, we have switched sides, and now we have Insomnia killing against the survivor team Eunoia. They have a tough win con. In order to win this set, to take this set, they need to 4K with 2 generators remaining. If they wish to tie, it would be a 4K with 1 generator remaining. And if you ask me, that is a tall order, especially because Demogorgon is known to be a lower tier killer, has to loop, has to hit survivors a minimum of 2 times. So this first down is incredibly important. We saw last game that the down happened very, very early. The hook happened in basement, a very, very hard place to save from with forced hesitation allowed in the game. And the survivors are already looking like they're in a better spot here because the first injury didn't happen as quick as the last time, but it still happened relatively fast. The first injury happening with 5 generators remaining. We'll have to see what the survivor team has in store for us. We don't actually have Pop Goes a Weasel. All the killer has is forced hesitation, and unfortunately it has Hex. No one escapes death. Does not help in this scenario of a win con, but like I said before we went on the break, the killer is not allowed to change their build. They have to have submitted them beforehand. A very early down right there, however, does secure the starting of the hook states counting down.
Yeah, it is rough with the no one escapes death, right? It's always a risk bringing it as the second playing killer of a game. You might be basically 3 perk Anderson if it doesn't work out for you. Fats being hook stage number 1. Again, a very quick one here. And yeah, it seems like our Demogorgons are going to be a little bit... Goodbye. He doesn't want to chase with Maddox. I mean, I can understand it. They are doing really good in that regard. But now we find Sponge instead. And he's in a significant worse position, trying to use this filler pallet and instantly back to the generator here as well. And we can see the result of this efficiency that the survivor team is trying to enforce here. First generator already coming out. Sponge has a little bit of progress. This shred is unfortunately not coming through. Would have been an important one for Easy, but Maddox now able to get away and moving towards the top side. We are in front of the main building, trying to move into the next tile, checking it out here. Nancy going to be found. That is not a successful body block at all. Raiden even taking an injury afterwards. The survivor team now needs to watch out. And Ray, this is not the first time that Eunoia is playing risky and gets punished for it.
That body block needed to be a little bit more clean from Raiden right there. Preventing the down into the Nancy was huge because now you were affected by forced hesitation. Took a tag right there, got rid of a jungle gym filler pallet. Now Nancy is not in the best position. She is hooked right here, closer to the side with a lot of generators up. The survivors are all injured. The Demogorgon is in a position right here where he needs to defend the hook, but also defend the gens. You can see the survivors are doing a good job of seesawing their positions. Ooh, we saw that Claudia did touch the Nancy on the hook for about a half a second. The survivors right here have incredible gen progress, but the Demogorgon placed the hook right here in such that they can pressure them off of it just a little bit. You can see, even though the Claudia is injured, she's making her presence known to the killer, who has to make a decision right here, right? You can't defend 2 generators and the hook at the same time. That one gets done. Will they be able to save Nancy before she goes? It doesn't seem like it. Fats is sort of saying goodbye early into the trial here. Oh, they're back over there. They're working on Shaq. Yes, the Nancy does bite the bullet. She's gone. This generator doesn't even pop, however, and will be... Oh God, is it gonna be regressing? I don't remember if the Demogorgon kicked it with Eruption. I don't believe he had the time. But all survivors are injured right here. Puts this ace right onto the ground, and all the survivors are injured. There is a lot of progress happening over here on this side of the map. However, if you do that generator, you reveal your location, which the Demogorgon knows the location of this survivor, and you only meet tie. You don't meet a win con. So if the survivors decide to actually just commit to these gens, that means that they're not taking this as a win. This is just a straight up tie. Like, this set doesn't really matter in the long run.
And I do think that Insomnia can live with this much better than Eunoia, because when you have a 4K1 and you have a rough win condition like easy, you will be very happy with the tie, and you will be very happy just moving forward. On the other side, Eunoia, after dropping the nurse set in such a difficult way, and now playing such a good killer game, essentially, and then struggling on the survivor side once more, will not be that happy with this result. So this tie might be very different in terms of how the teams are taking it, and we are going to continue the streak of easy here, catching the next survivor. We have this relatively difficult filler pallet, immediately breaking it with the power here. Methods moving back towards this jungle gym, but already being put onto the floor. Raiden DBD, the final survivor, yeah, and where will he be? Big surprise, he's going to pick up Sponge 1v1, so this is possible for easy to read as well. And we also need 2 additional generators, Ray. Even that is not sure at the moment.
Yeah, that's not to say for certain. They had a lot of progress. Claudia, instead of actually completing the gen, goes for the pick onto the slug survivor, onto Sponge. Meaning that even though that generator has a lot of progress, if they were to go down right here, it doesn't mean anything. So instead of revealing their location, Raiden instead decided to go for the pickup. We know the location of all the survivors. Don't get me wrong, this Demogorgon knows exactly where everybody is. It's just trying to draw them into a position where they can get all of these downs. That might be an incredibly good down right there. Not affected by force hesitation, however. Very, very unlucky. But another shred comes through right there. And now they're feeling the effects of not completing that generator right there. It might turn this potential tie into a potential loss for the survivors. They are not able to group up. They just don't last long enough in chase. The pickups happen, but the deaths need to happen further away from the other survivors. They need to happen just a little bit less time. The Demogorgon needs to corral these all together if he wants to get all of these survivors down. And it's seeming like it's exactly what is happening. Raiden here is kind of caught in a bad position. The survivors are across the map on this bone shape, so if the killer decides to hold the middle, then there's nothing that the survivors can really do. Goes for the pickup on this one, however. Knows that potentially Raiden is nowhere nearby, so they're gonna start the hook process as well. You could leave the survivor slugged on the ground, but if they put themselves in a good position when they crawl away, that means that it's not going to be as easy. However, when you place someone up on a hook, you do run the risk of them getting off the hook, already healthy, and 10 seconds of built-in borrowed time. Yes, see right here, we're already feeling these effects. Raiden was able to get that save for free, and now is back in the game. Metox is also up, can split off to go pick up Sponge, who has been sitting on the ground. But even here, this down is happening too early, and it's on the same side as the other survivors. So now the Demogorgon can just go around and get these downs again, one by one. There are no second chance perks for the survivors. Demogorgon is not a strong enough killer to warrant that, except that Easy is definitely showing us that maybe they needed it a little bit more. Knows exactly the locations of the survivors. It is trying to just get them down all at once. Oh, and the survivor over here is committing to getting this tie done. That is actually huge. Metrox able to slip away, able to confirm the tie right there and make this not a loss. So what the Demogorgon has to do now is just prevent another generator from getting done. Easier said than done, but we'll have to see what easy is made of.
Yeah, this is huge for Eunoia now, because we actually faced a potential loss there even, and as we were talking about it, this would have been way too rough. Even this tie, I feel like, is rough, because when you are getting a 4K1 as the Demogorgon, or 4K on 2 gens basically, that is just an insane result, and seeing that slip away on the side of Eunoia due to a difficult survival performance would definitely set them back by a good chunk. So it's important that they are going to make a comeback here. They don't have time though to go for the full reset on Sponge and Raiden, so it is going to be the injured Claudette for a little bit longer. They are going to split up, as you mentioned, Ray. One more generator. Doesn't sound a lot at all, but if you're catching the rescuer Sponge here, and if you're injuring that player almost immediately, then it's going to be a whole different story for this survivor team. We might not even able to reach Metox in time to bring that survivor back into the trial, which would mean that in just 30 seconds from now we are going to see the elimination coming through as well. And of course, with 2 survivors, it gets more and more dramatic and difficult for the survivor team here. Metox just a few seconds away from the elimination. Easy wants to make sure that this death is coming through, which is understandable. On the other hand, we need to keep in mind you are going to allow time for the survivor team on the generators. Raiden for a good amount of time now on the main building at the generator. That is, oh, they're actually doubling up next to the fun bus. Not sure if I agree with that, Ray.
That will be putting themselves in a position where the Demogorgon knows exactly where they are. Even right here, oh my god, is Claudia able to slip past? She doesn't have Iron Will. Yep, there we go. That means that the... Oh my god. The fun bus window stays fun. Oh my god. He's not even charging his shred. He knows that the survivor is just gonna vault it anyway. Even right here, this will definitely be the end of this game, yes, and that is a result shared by each team. 4K, 2 generators remaining. That is an insane result to get from Demogorgon. It seems like these survivors are more at home with the more volatile S-tier killers. Their game plans panning out easier in those sets than they did in this one. That is a crazy result to see. And even then, now we're past the lower tier killer, and now we're going into another S tier. So we'll have to see if these survivors can build back that confidence. That's not really a result that you would, you know, write home about on either side. So now we are 1 up for each team, and now we're resulting in a tie right now. It's definitely seeming like we're going to be playing all 7 sets today.
Absolutely, and this is what we love about the grand final. One quick comment, by the way, you will find on the top left of your screen the scoreboard, and you will see that there are only 2 dots on each team. Of course, there would need to be 4, but we had the grand final scheduled for last weekend, and this didn't happen because of all the bugs and restarts we had. Now the responsible staff member is unfortunate on summer holidays, and it's not that easy to change and adjust as you think, as there's a lot of technology and programming behind this live score sheet. So we are going to play it with 2 set points there at the top. Just keep in mind that the winning team needs 4 set points for today, and everyone who's asking later on, you are allowed to slap with a caps lock message of "Ladies and gentlemen, can you feel it? There's a spirit around on the Wrecker's Yard," played by Easy against Sponge, Raiden, Metox, and Fats. We are on a 1-1 at the moment. 4 set points are needed to win this grand final and qualify for the All Hallows League 2024. Insomnia has made a great comeback with a perfect performance on the Nurse set after Eunoia has taken the Billy at the beginning, and since then Eunoia is struggling a little bit. Insomnia looks a little bit more awake here, a little bit more ready, but let's find out if it's the trial where Eunoia is bringing everything back. We see them attacking the shack generator on the wrecker's yard as quick as they can here, because this generator can be linked into multiple other generators, creating a difficult setup. Moving back towards the truck over here. Now going back towards this pallet first. Yeah, let's set the priorities straight, making sure that the resources are removed out of the way, because a pallet vault like this, when the phase is ending, can decide between catching a survivor or having them pass away. Raiden here with a nice read onto the Spirit, giving SpongeBob enough time to receive the full heal. So survivors fully back to starting the trial, but certainly already with some impact on the gens. So I think Eunoia can feel very confident here.
Even though the tags were happening, I believe Sponge took a tag, Raiden took a tag now right over here. Oh, tries to read that, but reads it incorrectly. Will be going down right there. A 50-50 from the survivor's side. Killer able to sniff out what side of the pallet that David was on. Giving these tags, it's still not enough though, because you need to start the hooking process. Oh, does give a tag right there as well, but we still need to place Raiden up on a hook. You need to start it. Ruin is up, meaning that the generator that is not being progressed will regress. Even right here, the survivors were able to get this save. And now the survivor, Raiden, will be able to go into a better death spot right here. That is actually incredibly huge. The Spirit did not bring agitation, meaning that she can't hook exactly where she wants to. This is the spot. If you play Wrecker's Yard Spirit, you know this is the death spot. This is the pocket that's always the furthest away from generators. And right there, the first hook happens, but there's 2 generators done. A lot of filler pellets are gone, yes, but in Spirit sets, you're using your exhaustions to just get away from the hook, getting away from the objectives. She's an S-tier killer, so you're not planning on chases lasting too long anyway. And the tags are just not happening quick enough from the Spirit to make up for the fact that the survivors are just sitting on gens. Ruin is still up, yes, but Spirit is also the slowest of all the S tiers. She can't pressure the map as well as Blight or Billy or Nurse, so we'll have to see what the Spirit has in store. The save happens on Raiden, and the Spirit is all the way across the map, swinging and missing onto the survivor, doing an incredible job of looping as a 110% killer. Does get found out and gives a tag, however, this is a fresh hook survivor, meaning that even if the hook happens here, we have to start those hook stages all over again.
And also, while seeing this, we are getting corrected for a good reason in the background. I was saying earlier we are on a 1-1. We are on a 2-1. Of course, Insomnia has taken that demo set with the generator. Never mind. I was so focused on that tie that I wanted to see, completely ignoring that we did have a difference of a generator there. So yeah, thank you, Kasi, for correcting us. 2 set points so far for Insomnia, and that even suits what I was touching on. They are looking a little bit more ready, awake and strong here. So Eunoia really needs this survivor trial to go for them. Ada is going down, however, not making it towards the pallet. Fats over peaking here at this rock. Matox is going to take the reset in the distance. I like that the survivor team is making sure that we are going to see a little bit of a delay here on the killer side. He's not able to chain multiple hook stages together, not able to snowball, Spirit being a little bit kept under control here. But yeah, I'm a little bit worried about what we see at the moment from the survivor side still, because in all that time that they earn, Ray, and they are certainly doing a lot of good decisions, I always feel like that Eunoia is struggling a little bit today, getting that extra time into the gens, even though we see the third one here.
Yeah, we do see the third one happening there, but honestly, it could have been more, considering the Spirit is just going around and just one-hooking all of these survivors, not even forcing them into really bad positions where they have to 1-for-1 for a hook, or die on the way to the hook. Very wonderful phase right there. But like you said, there could be more generators. The organization is a little bit questionable, I would say. It seems that maybe the game plan isn't completely thought out. But the survivors have taken the time. They have healed. Fats is now on the second stage. So that could also be a potential tunnel out happening with 2 gens remaining. For a Spirit set, that could be incredibly good. However, she doesn't even stay near the hook. Right here, it gives a Sloppy Butcher tag to David. Will we be seeing her going back to hook? It does seem so. She is facing that way. The survivor, yep, someone in position to get the tag for free. Oh, and for the people play, that will be placing Ada at the healthy mark. She doesn't have decisive strike, so gets outplayed right there and gives a tag for free, and her exhaustion is gone. She needs to last a little bit longer to even make that for the people play worth it. Doesn't even react in time to that. The Spirit will be phasing right on top of Ada and taking her down. That is actually incredibly huge too, because Ace sacrificed one of his health states and the ability to heal for, I can't remember how long. So that for the people play, while it did buy a little bit of time, didn't buy incredibly much. Now Sponge is broken. There is a little bit of generator progress out there, but the survivors, it's not seeming like the amount of progress on the gens is equally trading for the amount of time survivors are spent up on hook.
And now it's going to come back to the next incredible decision here. Will we see a generator in time before potentially Sponge is either relocated by the killer or Metox is going down here? It's a question about a few seconds. No, this is... If this would have hit, I would have shut down everything and retire immediately. There was no way that Easy is going to get that, even though we are playing a little bit on ping difference and ping disadvantage here. Going over towards the truck. Now Raiden in the next chase has not a lot to work with. We've already used the resources in this part of the map there for the injury. Will Easy commit or defend the generators? The answer is generators receive the priority here. An understandable decision, a good decision, since the survivor was over here, but yet a 4th generator is going to get done. So yeah, that's going to be a lot of pressure now on the side of Easy, showing you that an elimination at the start of the trial, cutting it into 3v1 is great, but not enough against an efficient survivor team. Metox now going down. Finally, Spirit decides to pick up, which is giving some extra seconds for the 2 survivors that are doubling up in the distance now, Ace and Adam, and it does look like, Ray, they are going to be able to do this. Of course, they take a lot of risk here, though, with being injured, so they might be slugged after getting this done.
And Sponge does have an exhaustion. It is dead hard, but it seems like it's not activated. And even here, the exhaustion is overcome. Doesn't work if you are already injured, so there's not too much that they can use. However, Raiden will be jumping Locker to try to force a pick. The Spirit, not even on the case of Raiden anymore, is over here at Sponge. She needs to get the rest of the 2 survivors. Even that's not guaranteed. The gates are relatively close, and Metox is sitting right between them, but has a little bit of time to just sit there at the hook. Phasing right over here, Sponge is sort of caught out of position, will be going down. The Unbreakable is still possibly in the game. The Spirit does not know who it is on. It is not on Metox, who does get saved by David. The survivor's doing a good job of seesawing the priorities, going for the save, going for the door, baiting the Spirit to making a decision. She is now having her attention split between the remaining 2 survivors. Metox did take a borrow time hit right there, so can't just completely commit to a door and risk falling onto the ground. However, the Spirit has to make a decision, and she has to make it fast. Raiden is sitting there on the door, is possibly potentially going to be able to take at least 1 out. Metox over here has to last just a little bit longer. Spirit using her phase. Will she be winning this? No, she is not. Guesses the wrong side of the palette as to where that survivor is. The door does get open, so that does guarantee at least 1 stage out of the door, possibly more. How these survivors are playing it, we hear that Metox did jump Locker. However, he is in borrow time, so if he sat in there, he would eventually fall to the ground. We did see Raiden coming in to try to go for the pickup on Sponge there. Places Metox back on the ground. He's not able to get the pick just yet. Yep, and you know what? Raiden says, I'm gonna take my 2 stages and I'm going to go out the door. I don't care about anything else. They're confident that their killer will be able to 4K. At least 11 stages is needed to win this next set for Eunoia for their killer. So very well played. This game did seem to drag on quite a bit. The organization for both the killer and survivor might not have been the toppest tier, but they have to take that in stride and they have to prepare for the next trial because which team is up by 2?
Insomnia, so the killer.
Okay, so the killer who's playing right now, their team is up by 2. So Eunoia wants to lock in. They want to win the next set. We'll have to see what their killer is made of for that.
And I think Eunoia is coming a little bit back. We were worried when going into the trial when we had this 2-1 and Insomnia becoming the dominant part here. And we were talking about they do have a trouble sometimes getting their well-earned time into the generators, making sure that these objectives are being completed. But I feel like now with this escape, especially against the Spirit, where it's not guaranteed at all, and 10 stages overall, even having the escaped survivor not only this one magical stage and instead having 2 stages out of the door is definitely something that you can feel great about. So the upcoming killer, he can allow an out. You do have to take some kills. It's definitely an okay result, I would say. Nothing too clear, so it does stay exciting. And if you're a fan of Eunoia, you better press your thumbs really strong, because Eunoia will need some luck to bring this back into a 2-2 in this grand final of the Weekend Cup. Sit tight, and we'll see you right after a short break.
Back to more DBDLeague. All of these players are fighting for a spot in All Hallows League, and definitely Medtox wants to play to win this set. In order to win, you need 11 stages. 11 stages. 1 can get out through the door, but we need 11. And already onto the chase of Neko here. The Nia player, reads the survivor, but it's not good enough. Funbus has this window right here, not able to take that tag. Will be using phase instead to try to get right on top of a healthy survivor. However, leaves that chase. It is going to go to this mid map. A little bit of difference in builds. The killer brought Hex Ruin last game, but is not bringing it this game. Instead opts for Agitation, Sloppy Butcher, Pop Goes a Weasel, and Corrupt Intervention. Not able to get an early tag like last game, but even though the killer got an early tag, still was not able to get a hook stage until 2 gens were completed. So we can see the survivors are already having a game plan in their mind exactly where the downs want to happen. Running back over here to Funbus, the Spirit is able to phase right on top of Ada. However, meaning that the hook stages will be started a little bit earlier than last game. Agitation allowing the killer to place the survivor anywhere on the map that she chooses. Not anywhere, but close to anywhere. And now we can see the survivors are already setting up for the rest of the game.
Now we are luckily seeing for the survivor team a good amount of pressure on this first generator already, almost reaching the halftime mark on the progress there. Now is the big decision though. When are we rescuing Ada? Are we instantly going for it, bringing back survivor number 4 into the trial, or are we going to wait a little bit? Samurai is going to take the injury, meaning that it's now time to pull the survivor instead of having multiple survivors incapacitated, and it is going to be the Shack pallet in reach here. Samurai injured, Lux now not injured any longer. We have seen the reset over there. We do spot Ada though, unfortunate for the survivor team, because usually you want to prevent a tunnel out from happening, and now the Spirit obviously picking the survivor that has already been on the hook. Lux therefore going to be in the next chase already. Is it going to be the second hook stage? We are seeing kind of the setup for the flashlight save here. I don't think Nancy will make that in time though.
Even though the Ada looked like she was gonna die with a pallet. Yes, that was the game plan, but was not close enough. The Spirit able to pick without the pallet save happening. That is huge. You can even see right here, yes, they are buying a little bit of time, but those survivors are not on generators. And even right here, Samurai caught out of place will be going down next to the hook without any sort of unbreakable. The save does happen onto Ada right there, but is it even going to be enough? It doesn't even seem like it. This Ada? Ooh. Yep, it's seeming like she's going to be taking that tunnel out right there. It still has live and force the Spirit to use about all of her phase, meaning that Oh god, that was a really, really good call from Ada there. The passive phase, making it so the survivor wasn't found. The Spirit is actually playing this super well, preventing the lie from coming out. However, the Ada does guess exactly where that Spirit is, trying to just get to a spot where she can use her life, but is incredibly patient, buying just an extra few seconds here. Another 50-50. Is it a 50? We'll have to see. Plans to just go down underneath the pallet, however. Is there somebody nearby for the save? Was it a fake? Oh, it wasn't a fake, but oh no, Easy not in a good enough position to get the pallet save. Failed twice in one game. That is very hard. Very, very hard.
Guys. Oh, you just talked about things being hard, and I think you're being proven right here. That's going to be the next unfortunate down onto Easy, and Neko being in reach as well. That is going to be a potential injury onto the Nia. And now the survivor team needs to be really, really careful, because we have seen outs on the side of Eunoia, and Insomnia right now is so far away from achieving that. Samurai would need to go for 3 generators and then taking the outs right there. A little bit of a solo performance perhaps, or at least getting the... Was that a missed skill check on the healing? I do think so. That was a missed skill check, giving out the position a little bit earlier for the Spirit. And now the survivor team not only needs to take care of the heals and the resets and the unhooks in the basement, now the survivor team needs to get a chase that is giving them so much time in the mid game here that they are going to have a serious comeback and being able to progress these generators. Otherwise, Eunoia will bring us for a 2-2 set point, and we are going to see the next one. Samurai, who was found earlier, is now back into the chase. We see the scratch marks going to the side of Wrecker's Yard, but then making a curve. Nice throwing of Metox on the Spirit here a little bit. 50-50 on this pallet, instead holding W into the corner. And now it's all about time waste. You can see it by the pathing of the survivor here. You're trying to fight for every single second in the mid game here, giving your team members the chance to go for the rescue. But rescue means that no one is working on the gens just yet, and we need 3 more. So it's very unfortunate what's happening here.
Especially because these phases from Metox are insane. Guessing, well, I wouldn't even say guessing. There is a lot of factors that go into whenever you're phasing as a Spirit. Sorry, you can, if you listen exactly closely, you can hear what side of the pallet survivors throw it on, because the survivor makes a sound when they throw a pallet. They make a sort of gasp, and you can hear it if you are listening carefully. And it does seem that Metox is doing a fantastic job of just sniffing them out. Renato as well, famous for having incredibly quiet footsteps facing right on top of their face while they are healthy, is a huge feat to achieve as a Spirit player. So this Spirit is definitely looking very, very good right now, hitting all of these spaces, making it so these survivors are second-guessing even their ability to loop. The save does happen onto Samurai, but it's not for absolutely free. Neko will be taking a tag right there. A lot of these filler pellets have been thrown, have been used, so Metox is sitting in an incredibly good position to just phase right on top of a survivor, stiffing them out. Here's them going all the way over here to this wall filler pallet, phasing right on top of it. Will it result in a down? It definitely seems so, except the dead hard. The cross-swing dead hard buys a little bit extra time. Sometimes you don't even see dead hard in these games because it can be incredibly difficult even there. Metox snuffing out what side of the pallet that it was thrown on, knows the Nia is going to be going down if I come out of my phase right here. Nancy over here, it does get this generator done. We'll have enough time to just sit over there happily across the map, but if it's too little too late, you need to get survivors out the door to win this set.
This is drama pure on the side of Insomnia now. If we are looking at this entire grand final, I mean, they're coming in. They have a very rough performance on the Billy. Eunoia looking very dominant. Then they make a comeback. They are going in at the Nurse. They're even taking outs on the Nurse. They're bringing themselves back. Then the Demogorgon going good as well. And now they have a very rough trial once again. It's an up and down here on the side of Insomnia. When you are a fan of Insomnia, you probably had 2 heart attacks already and screamed by Celebration 3 times to balance it out. A lot of back and forth on the side of Insomnia here. Eunoia now with the comeback, and this is what makes the grand final so far so entertaining and so close, because we have 2 teams that are fighting for every single millimeter. 4th generator about to be done, and now it's easy trying to move in, realizing that there's not enough time. He came for the rescue a little bit too late. Remember, everyone, there's also a timer on blocking the pathway that is 10 seconds long, but Easy definitely moving too late for that. Samurai sacrifices themselves for the 4th generator, which is nice to achieve, but Easy would need to repair another whole generator and then taking the outs here. Ray, chances realistically very, very small, so we should plan with a 2-2 on the side of Insomnia here, meaning that the next killer would be the Artist, picked by Eunoia. Eunoia just took Insomnia's Spirit out of their hands, bringing it back into a 2-2. Now Eunoia's killer is coming up with the Artist. Is this potentially another turning point for Eunoia here?
It could definitely possibly seem like it. We'll have to see if Eunoia has something up their sleeve for picking the Artist. She is a killer with the skill ceiling, I would say. She is somebody that you definitely have to be good with the crows to be able to get downs, to get them quickly, to make it so that you are on top. And then Artist, I believe, is she played on Azeroth's Resting Place or Wreckers?
The Artist is Wreckers.
Okay, yeah.
Let me double check that though.
Yeah, previously she was always ARP, but I can't believe we don't see Artist games very often. So I'm a little bit interested to know if it is Wreckers, because Wreckers is completely different shape. It's more of a square. So we would be going in on the same map, just with different killers, different tiers as well. Artist is an A tier killer as opposed to Spirit's S tier, so a little bit more restrictive balancing. We'll have to see if that is exactly what we're going. Have to know your own rules.
And she still considered that, but yeah, we have changed it for Wreckers Yard, so thank God I was right. Not embarrassing myself tonight. So yeah, Wreckers is a pretty dangerous map for the Artist though.
It's very different than what we've seen, because Artist, while she is having somebody sit up on the hook, can pressure generators with birds, right? She can stay near the hook and pressure the map a little bit at the same time. So making the map smaller, changing it from ARP to Wreckers, definitely makes her a little bit more dangerous. We'll have to see. Eunoia will be on the killer against the Survivor team Insomnia once again. We're going to take a moment. We're going to set up the lobby, everybody. Don't go anywhere. A small intermission. We'll be right back.
Hi, we are back on the Wreckers Yard with the Artist between Insomnia and Eunoia. This time it's going to be Eunoia on the killer side and Insomnia on the survivor side. We have a perfect 2-2 so far. That's why we have deleted all the scoring points for the sets on the top left corner, because basically we're starting from 0-0 again, and that we don't have 4 set points there today is not going to become an issue anymore. Therefore, big shout out to the teams making it a 2-2 and very easy to work with our scoring sheet here. Samurai is going to take the crows, and what do we see? The one and only and famous comp corner, even though we are not consequently running into that. Garafa, Easy and Neko will make sure that we are going to see some gen pressure, but for the side of Eunoia, this was still a relatively quick down, though great for the survivor team here that they actually get a generator done.
And we can see in the build, Scourge Hook Pain Resonance is not allowed. A lot of Scourge Hook Pain Resonance has been taken out of DBDLeague. I believe it is also because the fact that Scourge Hook Pain Resonance is a Scourge Hook, which generates 4 random hooks on the map. So in order to create some semblance of less RNG, the committee has decided that we're not going to be having that anymore. So a lot of these killers aren't able to use that perk. So what it used to do is prevent that first generator from popping, but now we don't have that. We have to rely on our chases as amazing S-tier players. We see that instead the killer has decided to bring Ruin, Eruption, Agitation, Corrupt. And because, like I said before we went on the break, the artist is able to pressure generators and the hook at the same time. Right here, the survivors are doubling the first 2 generators. That does get 2 done before even the second stage is able to come through, or, you know, just in time. But right here, they are opting to just get these generators done without splitting progress, which is more efficient. But they are getting them done, so I guess that's a W. The Ruin is still up. The artist able to pressure that, get the survivors off of that totem while she is just sitting right here at hook. Amazing artist gameplay, camping, and then also just setting birds all the way across the map. It would be crazy for her to leave right now because there's not a lot of progress to speak of on the gen side. So it's not going to be rewarded too much. And also, this survivor is about to be dead. He's about to be dead. Although the artist will have an idea of where this Nancy is she going to be able to get the save for free? It definitely does not seem so. Tries to body block it, but is not able to get there just in time. Will result in a 1-for-1 and is now on the chase of a survivor who could be potentially tunneled out of the game. Do they have a lot of progress to make up for the fact that he's sitting on hook? It does seem so. The survivors seem to have been locked in from this.
And now Easy staying on the floor as Metox also realizes that he needs a little bit of an additional pressure here. This survivor team doing really good so far on the generator side, so Metox can feel this pressure and he realizes, well, just one stage here based on Samurai and Easy will not be enough, so I'm going for more. Unfortunately, this chase here is taking a lot longer than expected. On the Fun Bust, Samurai has done a fantastic job over here, making sure that the killer will not be able to have the double slug they were anticipating, and that's going to be the 3rd generator coming out. Yeah, you do get the elimination, you do cut the survivor team by a member, but if that's really enough to stop the survivor team from getting 2 additional generators done is not a guarantee just yet, because first, we have a little bit of progress on the other generators, and second, the chases didn't look too bad that we have seen here so far. So the survivor team definitely with a realistic chance of making this happen here.
These survivors do seem to be locked in on the artist gameplay. Although the artist does seem to find more than just one survivor over here. Do they know that this is also where the reset happened? It definitely seems like it. The artist does eyeball that corner over there. Might have seen Nancy, however, decides to just continue the chase onto Neko over here, who is taking their time going across the map from where those survivors were. Ruin is still up, eats that bird right there, taking a health state, and is running to the famous corner of the Wrecker's Yard. This tiny little pocket right here that is so far away from the other gens, just trying to die in the comp corner, making it so it's a little bit harder for the artist to defend generators and the survivor on the hook at the same time. The survivors, instead of doubling up like they did earlier, have taken the time to split pressure. This means if the killer does want to leave the hook and pressure gens, they can only do so 1 at a time. Ruin is still up, however, so if they take the time to come over here for this unhook, their gen will be regressing as if the killer had kicked it. At 100% the rate, the killer still has Eruption in their back pocket. This has a lot of progress. These survivors might just continue to commit to this. This is really close to getting done. The artist is pressuring Nancy off of her generator, but the other one is going to get done in time, and this still has a lot of progress. This tag does happen, meaning that Nancy will have a little bit more time, a little bit more distance to possibly get away from this gen. This is the one that you need to die far away from because all the other ones are at 0. Yep, it eats that bird right there as well. The artist is bringing in the ink egg add-on, which is the purple one shaped like an egg, making it so she can have 4 crows instead of 3, making it a little bit harder to dodge a shotgun attack just like that. But now this could be 4K1 territory if the survivors play if they don't play it incredibly well. They have split the map, however. That deep pocket gen is still up, and Nancy's is all the way across the other side. She is hooked right on top of it, but if the killer can pressure the survivors correctly, getting them downs before they can get the perfect plays to happen, it could result in a 4K1, or it could be outs.
Could be out indeed. Everything is possible still for the survivor team of Insomnia here. They have played a mixed trial, I would say. On the one hand, we've seen these longer chases, the efficiency on the generator, this pressure when Metox was forced into slugging even. On the other hand, Metox was able to stay the dominant role, and he is also able to surprise them with some snipes, zoning them into the pockets of the Wrecker's Yard, taking advantage of that. Just a millisecond off here with the potential injury there. A little bit lucky for Neko, who's now going to hold W against this double crow very nicely here. Gets out of the edge of the Wrecker's Yard, no longer zoned, not even with an injury just yet. Fantastic play by our survivor here, being able to drag the killer all the way back towards the fun bus and wasting a quite significant amount of time. That's going to be the final generator being completed, and I don't think that this clip is going to worry about any additional crow being shot in their direction, not even hitting with that second one, because you are actually going to move into the end game. And Claudette is healthy. Claudette has a little bit of a head start here. We don't have an end game perk, so I do think Garafa will be the final down we will see in this trial. The other 2 survivors should be out safely, and this might even be the case for Claudette here.
Claudette still has to take 2 tags, meaning that they are getting a little bit of distance. Neko is over here getting this door open. Nancy is here trying to take a body block hit. She is injured, and that will result in the down. However, she is worth less stages, so does go down. Severed hands, making this a little bit of a dangerous scenario, but her power is not going to be able to come back that much quickly. Yep, that is the gameplay. The survivors were able to trade the Claudette for the Nancy, who is worth just 2 more stages as opposed to the other survivor. Was it Neko? No. It was Garafa. Garafa was worth 3 stages, so they were able to save 1 stage. Yep. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stages, 3 fresh. The artist, if she wants to win, has to get 7 stages, 4 fresh, or 8 stages next game.
And that's a great result, right? 5 stages out of the door for the survivor team. Of course, outs against an artist is something you can fairly expect here, but I feel like 5 stages out of the door, and as you mentioned, only giving out 3 fresh hooks to the killer. That is a significant amount here, so they can really feel great. Insomnia has done a good job. 5 stages out of the door. Let's see, everyone, what Eunoia is going to do here. Eunoia would love to take this, obviously, because they have picked the artist. If Insomnia would be able to pick this set and then have the deciding match point on their own killer, that would be too much of an advantage. Therefore, Eunoia under pressure. We will see you with the upcoming trial right after a short break. Gen repairers, medkit users, deliverance enjoyers, sprint bursters, borrowed time saviors, killer main legends, looping pros, pallet droppers, kill check masters, hatch seekers, adrenaline junkies, urban evasion experts, Claudette, clothes, Dwight leaders, no mither enthusiasts, fog whisperers, spine shell seekers, balanced landing loopers, deception strikers, unbreakable survivors, dead hard heroes, and self-care specialists. We are back. Yes, I got something in the break, and we are back on the Wrecker's Yard with the first chase. Sponge already taking the injury right there, but being able to get away from here. No pressure for the killer just yet, at least not too noticeable, as we are now moving over towards Fats, but Fats trying to avoid this crow is going to take both the injury and the crows, and that's a huge mistake, unfortunately, right here. If in doubt, then you should could hold W and take it, but he's getting rescued. So potentially it wasn't a mistake and I spoke too soon and they made it look like an absolute fumble here at the beginning. So Cyber is feeling safe. And now a fun story to Ray. Fats and Cyber used to play on the same team back then in the Wolfpack community, now facing each other. Cyber with the second down onto Fats, but this is a duel of friends even.
That's incredible. Having to play against your team like this in a very, very nerve-wracking set. That is something to behold. You know each other very well. You know your looping styles. Who will come out on top? It is definitely Artist. That's a little bit, you know, was able to delay the down quite enough. As it was, Artist is a little bit of an anti-loop killer, so any time bot is good time bot. However, this is completely different than what happened last game. These hooks are happening a little bit early. It did happen about the same time, but the survivors do not have as much generator progress. It is actually incredibly funny because Ace is working on the one that is right next to the hook, and the killer has no idea. If they would have turned to the left, they would see them. Metox is working on that one right there. Maybe the Artist doesn't believe that they could be working on that one next to the hill. Oh god, it's gonna get done any second now. I thought it was gonna get done right there, but will be happening momentarily. Ruin was cleansed, but thank goodness we have Undying. It is still technically up. This generator does get done right next to the... And Sponge was also injured. That is incredible. If the killer had just sent a bird that direction, they would have been in an incredibly good position to get another down, but does not do so. Instead, Fats will be going on to second stage, will be the prime target for a tunnel out. The survivors have sat on gens just a little bit, but will it be enough? Cyber also brought in Eunoia. That will allow the killer to possibly go for more slugs in the endgame. Remember, the win con is not something that is too terrible, especially when you're getting a tunnel out just like this. Having Eunoia in the back pocket is really going to make a difference in endgame if we get there.
And for the end game, we are going to need a totally efficient survivor team. And for an efficient survivor team, you would like to have 4 team members. Unfortunately, though, it looks like Fats is going to say goodbye very early, not surviving long against the old teammate Cyber. That's indeed going to be the third hook stage confirmed now. Though the survivor team was definitely efficient during all this time, having a generator over there, a second generator with 80% over here, so we are looking kind of like the previous trial towards a few completed generators before losing the first team member. Now Metox and Sponge being around here. Metox will be the survivor in chase. Raiden and Sponge have left the shack already, making sure that they are not going to take any additional injury here. Metox will rotate back towards the generator we've seen earlier with a quite significant amount, and Sponge has already done the same, making sure that generator number 3 is going to be completed. The good news for the survivor team is we have a healthy survivor, so the chance for a longer run over here, the gen pressure is there, the team feels coordinated at the moment. This shot is also not missing, so Insomnia needs to watch out that the pressure is not slipping away here.
This was Eunoia's pick. The survivor team that is playing right now, this was their pick. So they had an idea of how they were going to play going into the trial. Maybe their Artist player is way more experienced, maybe not. Cyber is doing a good job of pressuring this, however, and that is a wall. Metox running into it right there. A little bit of a slip and slide will be going down, however, and the Ruin is doing good work here. It is pressuring these generators, although these survivors here are doubled up trying to get this main one done right here, maybe so that the last remaining generators are easier to pressure. The generator that they were doing earlier did regress, however, and now they're in a state where they need to get some of these health stages out the door. Remember, last game it was 7 stages 3 fresh. So in order to win, this Artist has to get either 7 stages 4 fresh or 8 stages. And it's seeming like they might be on the way to it. The map is split. No, it's not. It's not split. The generators are actually incredibly close. Oh, yes, we're sending out crows over there. There you have the Artist play, camping the hook survivor and pressuring the generators at the same time.
The Survivor team needs to be careful now because snipes is not something you can take at the moment. You don't have any room for mistakes anymore. A is here with a nice reaction, making sure that he can just peacefully work on this generator. Metox will very likely go into the second stage here as Raiden and Sponge have to prioritize the generator over here after this Cyber potentially moving around. He does feel it. He feels that there's a survivor working on the generators. He was trying to aim a little bit to the right side this time, expecting that the survivors would leave the gen, potentially throwing them off here. And now we have him Sponge 1v1, the injured survivor. So this would be a very quick down if we are successful. So we're staying at this pallet, but the mind game is going to be successful. Usually after dropping this pallet, you want to make a turn to the left to increase the distance between yourself and the killer. Vaulting back always forces you in a 50-50 situation, and we can unfortunately tell what the outcome of this can be. Sponge therefore quickly onto the hook. Survivors trying to grind the gen. I'm not entirely sure if this will be enough time though. It will be a close one, right?
And there we go. That is our third fresh hook. 6 stages, however, they still need to get another survivor. Raiden right here is the win con. If Raiden goes up on the hook, that is the win for Insomnia. So Raiden needs to play a little bit safer. However, you cannot give more stages. This is actually incredibly dastardly because Sponge is in this basement. If Sponge were to die, that would also be the win for Insomnia. So Artist is incredibly good at guarding basement. She can send birds down into the basement, so if you're coming up the steps, it is incredibly difficult not to take at least one hit. Raiden is running closer to inside the map. Metox here has to get rid of the crows. It is looking like the survivor in the basement will be going to struggle. It is not enough time. We see Raiden over here trying to play a little bit aggressive, but is it even going to be enough? They're going to get the door, but they can't let the survivor die. But are they even going to be able to do it? There's not enough time.
They need him out though.
Oh, goodness.
They need Sponge out of the door to make this a tie. And if they leave like this, then they only have 4 stages out of the door. And with this, no one escapes that. That is going to seal the deal. This would be the 4th individual survivor hook, meaning that Insomnia is taking it once more here on the Wrecker's Yard. What a great performance from them. Sponge is trying to move out of the shack, will successfully do that. Metox going back towards this side over here and trying to go for the rescue. Will take an injury in the meanwhile. That means that we are not going to have a trade because the survivors have a little bit more for us here with body blocking. So let's see if we are going to have a significant amount of stages in or out of the trial. Raiden is trying to move further here, making a little bit of a turn. Of course, now it is also about how you set yourself up for the upcoming trial. Now Raiden is being blocked at the pallet here, and it's going to be the 2 survivors leaving. Good performance from Eunoia. Unfortunately, not going to be enough. And that's honestly surprising again, Ray, because I felt like Insomnia was finally in check, in place by Team Eunoia, but Eunoia then on the final meters not able to execute their game plan. 3-2 for Team Insomnia. And I feel like we lost our caster Ray. So
I was
we
muted by accident.
Oh, welcome back. You can take the outro.
Sorry about that. Yeah, and we will be going into another Insomnia pick as well. They picked the Doctor. The next set going from S tier, A tier killers all the way down to the bottom of the barrel. Doctor, the lowest of the low. Except, Ghostface is lower, so I guess technically not the lowest. But, guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to, oh my god, set number 6. We are definitely going through it. We have seen some back and forths wins, some ties, but Insomnia is ahead by 1 set point And now we are loading in with Insomnia back on the killer against the survivor team. Eunoia already onto the chase, already Shack Pallet dropped the very first pallet. It is just a god filler, however. So now Metox has to take the time to live just a little bit longer. We've switched to Doctor, a very, very different set than what we've seen from everything that we've had so far. A very low tier killer. Definitely does not usually result in 4Ks, does not have a lot of perks for the survivors that are allowed as well. A little bit of a more aggressive chase here. We've got Rapid Brutality, save the best for last. Definitely good for body blocking hits and for catching up for whenever survivors do take their first M1 tag. Yes, and we do see Fats here for the body block hit. No Sloppy Butcher, however, so the resets can happen fairly quickly. Changing to go after Fats. The obsession. No, the stacks will be good. The survivor does run into an active generator. However, Sponge will be taking a tag as well. Those free tags can add up later in the game. Little bit of a misplay. This down happening at 5 generators. That is crazy for a Doctor set. This is going to kickstart that hooking process and place survivors into a compromisable position.
Absolutely. Fats going down, very unfortunate and early again. Feel like we've seen that a little bit too often today. Don't want to sound too negative there, but we had it against the Artist. We had it early on the set as well, and now again. It seems like Insomnia has picked Fats a little bit for that first chase and making sure that they get the first hook stage of them. Sponge 1v1, Raiden and Metox, 2 of them already injured as well. So it's not only been a quick down into the first chase, the Doctor has spread quite severe damage across the survivor team already here. Definitely not the dream start for the team of Eunoia. That might fall a little bit apart now, Ray. We discussed it a little bit in the break. Eunoia doesn't feel as strong as in the semi-final. A lot of their game plans seem a little bit too hectic. They play a little bit too confident for me as well, showing themselves taking risks like the flashlight saves that didn't work out most of the time, for example earlier on the Nurse set. And then we had, when it worked out, for example on the Artist, then it was only the compensation for almost a 2-tap that happened at the beginning. So Eunoia not that strong today. We have seen them on the Billy earlier. They were coming into the game, they were smashing left and right, and now towards the end perhaps they are losing a little bit the nerves here, or not having enough stamina to play a best of 7. I mean, to be fair, it is very unusual to play a best of 7 as a newcomer team, but something is wrong there on the side of Eunoia. Something is making sure that they are not showing their full potential today, and especially in this Doctor set, it's all or nothing now, because Insomnia could seal the deal here. So these few generators that we see now, they are definitely important, and these pressures will definitely feel good, but they are also losing Fats here. They need something serious done in the mid game.
The heals do happen fairly on time because there is no Sloppy Butcher. And right there, actually, one of the Doctor's perks just gets out of the game. There is no save the best for last. But really, do you need to have that perk when you already are into the 3v1 with 3 generators remaining? Some progress on some of them. 3 stacks of Scourge Hook Pain Resonance as well. And with that hook respawn change, that one will respawn that Ada died on. So there's no downside to using it. The hit does happen onto Raiden as well over here. There are a lot of fillers still available, so they could go on a juicer connecting tile kind of chase. However, right here, we're already in a loop of Doctor catching up, shocking you so you can't throw the pallet. Trying to just gain as much distance as humanly possible. Oh, the pathing from Raiden. However, that will be the down right there. The path palette does not save you forever, especially against a Doctor. And this will be the hook right here in the mid-map, even right here. Such a bad position to go down at. The survivor didn't really have a choice to leave that tile. There was no other connecting tiles. This map looks a little bit dead. The good pallets have already been used, so you can't just go to Shack, throw it, and immediately have just like a 20-second longer chase. The save does happen onto Raiden. However, Garafa is onto the path of Sponge, who is injured. Yes, this is exactly what we need. We need just a little bit more time for the survivors to sit on gens, to get healed, to do all that good stuff. Right now, the killer just needs to be occupied with a really long chase, which could happen because it is Doctor. We'll see if Sponge is able to do it. Tries to go for this right here. Ooh, good pathing, good pathing. You're going to be able to make that window. Dang! Good fake from Sponge, able to make this filler pallet over here. Will it be enough? It does seem like they have lost just right amount of distance. Sponge will be going down. Bought some good time for the team, however, to possibly sit on top of generators to get a little bit more progress because we don't want to get 4K'd at high gents. That one does get done. It was a singly done generator, meaning that Raiden could be on another one out there. Except we see Raiden here at main was working on that generator that is close to that hook. So that progress could die, however, so maybe that position for doing that gen wasn't the best. We do have the two survivors who are out there. Static Blast doesn't hit anyone, letting Garafa know that nobody is close by just yet. Metox could be stealthing for the save. Yes, just outside the radius of the Static Blast. Does get the save for free, and Raiden will be able to sit on a gen all the way across the map.
And now we are going to see a little bit of a scream right there from our injured survivor. Luckily, Garafa decides to go into chase with the healthy one. Never mind, the survivor team not with a lot of hope for a long chase here. Instead, we will prioritize the survivor injured out of the box here and out of the tile as well. I don't know why I called this tile a box. It's certainly not that, but we are going to take a little bit of distance now. The shock coming through, trying to prevent the pallet will do that successfully, and it's going to be the injury on the next survivor. And this body block here, for example, this was a nice idea, but now you're moving into the area where you don't have resources available. You're not trying to pull the doctor back towards the shack, moving with the shack window a little bit and then pulling towards the tiles we have over there. Therefore, it's going to be a relatively quick down. Fourth generator being completed by Raiden. Important now that the survivor team is prioritizing these objectives when trying to fight against the potential 4K. First hook stage for Metox. That's a potential advantage here for the survivor team. 2 minutes of hang time. That would be enough to repair one full generator. That's why Garafa cannot really camp that survivor now and has to move on, unfortunately, the other side of the map. So good work here by the survivor team in that regard, trying to pull the killer away from the active gens and making sure that he cannot guard both the generators and the hook stage. But Sponge being found over here. He's going to vault the window. He was just faking it very beautifully, throwing off the killer and even me here. And that's going to be the down, unfortunately, onto Sponge. But Raiden, Metox, they had a little bit of time, and since they didn't heal, I do feel like we have some significant progress on another gen here.
Oh, and it's not the generator that the doctor thinks it is, because the generator that's furthest away is not the one that's being worked on. Sponge was able to buy just a little bit of time for them to work on it, but it was not enough. It does have a good amount of progress, but because it was so close to the down, the doctor doesn't have to go too far to try to get it. Ooh, fix that window. Are we gonna fake this one too? Are you gonna go through it? Oh, very wonderfully played. It wins a sort of 50-50. I would say it's more like a 40-60 if you ask me, but who's asking? They do get the pickup onto Sponge, who was downed over there. Raiden and Sponge back up and in the game. However, the Metox hook is going to be happening right on top of this generator that they were both doubling. So how much progress are they really going to get? They really need to pull out at least one more generator out of this situation. They've given up enough hook stages. They've given up enough hits. They're both injured. Nope, Sponge is not injured, actually. I can't believe that heal happened. Oh, the empathic connection is in the game. Yeah, that actually had a recent buff. It's 40% faster heal speeds. So I believe that did play a little bit of part in the reset there. But Raiden is now injured, going for the unhook, while Sponge is over here trying to loop the doctor, but will be taking a tag. Yes, okay, thank God, it actually happened. I didn't want to cast a curse and then not actually have it happen. The save does happen for free, but everybody's injured again. They just need to last a little bit longer, take the doctor to a good death spot to prevent just getting a 3-man slugged in this scenario, because they need at least one more generator to get out through the situation.
And now we have the pickup right here, meaning that we get a little bit of time again on the 2 injured survivors here, but not too much. And Ace already has to rotate away again, because after Matox is not only hooked but also sacrificed, we are going to rotate back towards this generator over here. Yeah, Raiden and Sponge, the 2 survivors that are standing quite often as the last 2 in the trial, I feel like, now also being injured. Of course, that brings a lot of pressure onto your shoulders here, and injured against the Doctor always feels pretty bad, because the pallet in reach does become significantly less safe when you have a killer that can deny it with a few good placed shock attacks. Therefore, Raiden and Sponge need to be really careful. 20% on the gen over here, and Garaffa trying to locate the next survivor for the next chase, and it does look like he found someone there on the edge of the map. Not entirely sure, but yeah, he does find Raiden over here. Good scouting there from our killer, now trying to deny the pallet. Raiden is going to drop it, unfortunately, on the wrong side. And now it's understandable that Garaffa is slugging. He wants to finish it off here very nicely. And honestly, ladies and gentlemen, remember, we are on a 3-2 in favor of the killer, in favor of Team Insomnia here. So if they 4K, and then no, they only have to get all the gens done in order to qualify for AHL 2024 and being the winner of the Weekend Cup. Well, I would take that any day of the week.
And it definitely seems like this will result in a 4K1. Doctor able to sniff out survivors with his static blast. The survivors aren't down for the count just yet, and it is Doctor, so he does have to, you know, take the distance to just waddle his way after these survivors. Maybe they can lead him on a really, really long chase where another generator gets done. That's the best you can absolutely hope for. But a lot of the fillers are gone. He is sort of an anti-loop killer. Even eating that blind right there is just Chad energy. He says, I can still get you even though I am blind. Yep, gets Sponge down onto the ground. Raiden is out there. Doesn't even choose to slug, actually. Although the Doctor can find people very reliably with his static blast. So we'll have to see if Raiden might be playing for either the unhook or for the gate. Garaffa does not see that Raiden is stealthing over there in the corner. Might have an idea that they might be by the shack, trying to slip out through the exit gate, through the hatch, or try to do the exit gate. I guess that is definitely something that could happen. Raiden does come in here for the quick sneaky save. Not able to get down just yet. We're still in this game. We're still in this game. Oh my god, it's even like it's probably going to be a 4K1. They're maybe trying to play for outs through the gate or through hatch just to make it so in the event of a tie, it is in their favor. Oh no. Juiced. Absolutely juiced.
This killer tried to Raiden the locker, but it didn't work because the door of the locker is too strong to make it with this weapon of the Doctor. Sponge 1v1 final standing survivor being located here. I think that looks like a very clean 4K. Ray, now your intense analyze about this trial. That's why we flew you in all the way from the States in America. You had a long travel. Final trial. And you only need all gens, meaning on the other side, if we flip it, perfect killer game on the Doctor, because honestly 4K2 is a perfect killer game as a Doctor, since you are technically weak killer. How do you play it as a killer, loading into the trial, knowing you need to play the perfect Doctor game with your perks already being selected? You cannot choose anything wild anymore, nothing crazy risky like a Devour Hope. How do you play this upcoming trial?
I don't know. Like you said, you have to play it almost exactly perfectly. You need to get you need your survivors to make mistakes. I think is exactly what really needs to happen. Because as a doctor, you're low tier. You still have to loop. You still have to deal with shack palette. You still have to deal with all these safe palettes and tiles that can chain and connect and just delay the downs that need to happen really early. You need the survivors to make mistakes, basically, to 4K2. We'll have to see if they can do that because they need to take this next set because Insomnia is up by 1. How great would it be if they were up by 2? Guys, we're going to take a tiny short break. Don't go anywhere. Eunoia will be killing next against the Survivor team Insomnia.
Welcome back, everyone, to the red shop with the Doctor. Raiden is taking the responsibility for Team Eunoia, and it's a huge responsibility as we are potentially looking towards the final trial of today's match. If the survivors, Garafa, Lux, Neko, and Samurai, are completing all 5 generators, they would take the crown of the Weekend Cup and qualify themselves for the AHL 2024, bringing Insomnia as the new promising team into the comp environment, and that's what Raiden DBD has to prevent here. The survivors are going to face corrupt intervention at the beginning. The no one escapes death is, as so often, unfortunately, pretty useless here considering the win condition. All 5 gens done would secure the win for Team Insomnia, and I don't think this will be enough for reaching the Shack palette. And we also had Garafa being around for the potential body block here, meaning that 2 survivors are not working on the generators. Ray, something I disagree now with the decision making of the survivor team here, because if you have a win condition about the generators, why trying something so risky, right?
Indeed, you can put yourself in a position where you could potentially get slugged right there. If Raiden had been just a little bit more patient on that window right there, that would have resulted in another tag, a possible another down. We do see that I don't know how to pronounce the survivor's name, the Cheryl, did stick to her gen, however, and she is getting progress on that, so not entirely too much was lost. We saw the hook coming in fairly... Like they're in a little bit of pressure position, but then right there, Garafa takes another tag and is running to the corner of the map away from the hook survivor, however, so that is good. The save does happen. Garafa will be taking this down, but it is not on a tunnel out survivor. In a strategy such as this, I think a tunnel out would be your prime directive, right? You need to make it a 3v1 as soon as possible because you need survivors to stop doing gens. You need them to win. You need to 4K with 2 generators left. You can even see that Raiden doesn't even take the time to go and hook that survivor. He instead possibly wants to go back and try to find that tunnel out.
Yeah, it is super tricky now for the killer as well, right? You want to force this elimination. On the other hand, an elimination requires you to kind of tunnel or camp, which is contradictory to going across the map and around the map and making sure that no one is working on the generators. So it will be interesting what kind of middle ground Raiden is finding here for achieving that. Nia Neko is going to walk towards this filler palette over here. That's going to be a nice shock by Raiden, making sure that she has to take an extra turn around this loop, and this is going to be enough to already go for the down. Second hook stage in exchange for 1 generator. The second one is in preparation at the moment here in the main building. They are perfectly waiting out the pain res, and that's a significant chunk of regression though. So if Raiden would have picked the main building afterwards, which he unfortunately not has done, then we would have seen him preventing the generator from being completed. Garafa is staying injured all this time as well, telling us that the survivors have a clear priority considering the win condition. 50-50 mind games here, confidence ring by Raiden, making sure that Cheryl is taking attack, and now you have with the alien perk a little bit of a sprint boost here, 5% coming out. In exchange to that, you cannot really gain the bloodlust, but since Doctor is doing so good with the shocks preventing the loops anyway, bloodlust is not really something that you have to worry about. What's more important for you is that you're getting more than just one hooked survivor. You want to have these injured survivors in best case in a down, and I wouldn't be surprised if in a little bit we even see Raiden starting to slug here.
However, the slugging comes with some upsides and some downsides. Upsides, the survivors are on the ground not doing anything. Downsides, Doctor is a lower tier killer and can't capitalize as easily. However, putting themselves in a really bad position, the survivor here is possibly going down while that survivor was still on hook. They did go to second. This is a very interesting situation that this game has put itself in. If Neko gets found and his chase only lasts a couple seconds, that will be the 3v1 with high generators remaining. So the killer could be in an incredibly good position to actually win this set. I can't believe I would say it's possible for the Doctor to 4k2. Raiden does sniff out the Nia, who is found over here. She needs to last to make the 3v1 worth it. The generator progress is still happening with the survivors that are still in the trial, so it could be traded just exactly what is needed, but even right here, just taking the distance and dying over here in the comp corner, is there a head-on in that locker? Is there a head-on in there? I think the killer knows. Yeah, the killer does know. That was the most obvious head-on setup I have ever seen in my life. Was in that locker, was completely quiet, but that is another down. And that is not where the other survivors are. Okay, right there, that is another generator. They need one more to tie. The killer cannot let another slip through their fingers in order to win this set.
Oh dear, ladies and gentlemen, now we are entering the part of the grand final where every single decision, every single hook stage can define if you're the winner or the loser. I'm a little bit worried about pushing this into the tiebreaker with the Blight, because Blight is not a guarantee at all. I feel like against a more mechanical killer like Doctor or Demogorgon, you can really enforce your game plan. On a Blight, always something can go wrong due to the speed. So Insomnia has a huge interest in making the decision right here, that's for sure. Neko is now going to be eliminated, meaning that we only have 3 survivors standing. That is also going to be a very deciding factor. Now, Ray, talking about the tiebreaker that you just mentioned, we are on 80% on the generator over here. Unfortunately, we have to interrupt the progress for a moment, meaning that our killer has a little bit of additional time. Moving through the shack, trying to reach the next filler pallet, will not be successfully doing that. Mind game going towards Raiden here with a very easy 180 turn. Samurai is already going down onto the floor. That is now the nerves also that are starting to shake on the side of Insomnia. You can feel you're so close to winning this grand final, but you're a few steps away from it. And right now the survivor's starting to struggle a lot.
And we need to know, is the Cheryl going to be able to get that done in time? No! Oh my god, is this really going to be a win for Eunoia? That would be insane. Another win? Brother. Oh my god. It seems like it's definitely going to be. This is the perfect game. This is what we were talking about before we were coming in. That this is exactly what they needed to see. Those gens all have so much progress, but it needed just a little bit more time. Cheryl could be sitting on a generator to try to get it done. The Doctor hasn't kicked any of those gens. The pickup does happen on Garaffa. That is huge. That happened for free. Now there's 2 survivors in the game. They are up and about. The Doctor knows that the position they were in was good, but hesitated just a little bit too long. The survivors were able to get that distance. Gets the attention of the Doctor. The Doctor, knowing where Cheryl is, doesn't know where the Ace is, knowing that that generator has a bunch of progress, wants to sort of camp it to regress a little bit more. Able to get the pickup over here as well. Ace finds his way to a filler pellet, not going down instantly. Oh, how does that not even hit? That was insane. It like clipped his hair. Oh my god. Goes for another vault. Dang, he's looping. Looping. Oh, fakes the break, however. Oh, that doesn't even hit either. Oh my god. The ping is too strong on Garaffa. Able to delay that down. That is huge. The survivors are maybe able to break up now and get another generator done so this doesn't turn into a win for the team Eunoia.
Yeah, Garaffa vibing on the roof of Behavior Interactive's headquarter with a ping of 3. And there it is, generator number 4 being completed. The tie now secured, so you can move into the Blight set on the side of Insomnia. And if it would stay like this, but you know that Eunoia will not instantly take the win of the grand final. Insomnia basically one additional chance here, or they are just going to take generator number 5 and making a clear decision themselves. Obviously, that would be in their favor and would be what they are trying to look out for. They are taking time for the reset, though. One good read now by the killer, one rotation over here, and it seems like we're seeing that. And the survivors are going to be in trouble. I don't see them repairing another generator at the moment, with one person now being in need to save Samurai and the other one going in chase. It's not really looking like we are going to face this this final generator. Maybe a chance afterwards for that. We would need a longer chase during the mid game though, and it will be more and more difficult because quite a good amount of resources has already been removed from this trial. So right now I don't really know what to predict, Ray. I feel like this could flip either side, but Eunoia has definitely taken a little bit of a victory here by making sure that it's, in worst case, just the tie.
And what exactly is happening with the last game, since this was another tie? We have to go into the Blight set? Is there going to be a replayed set?
Yeah, so if we are going into the Blight and then Eunoia is winning the Blight, then we are looking back towards the Doctor, because we haven't seen a decision in the Doctor set, and then basically we will just play Doctor the whole night until we have a decision there. Yeah.
These teams need to lock in, man. Getting 4K and 1 on Doctor is rough. So if we play this next set and Eunoia does take it, that is if Eunoia takes it, then we'll have to replay the Doctor set. However, it is Eunoia's pick, so they have a very real chance to take it. We've also seen that, we've seen Raiden, I believe Raiden, yeah, plays Billy, and they are played on the same map? Question marks. I know Blight is...
Supple.
Is it going to be Supple? For sure.
Yeah, we had Blight on Blood Lodge for the past community nights because Suffocation Kit is really buggy. But we have offered to the teams to stay on Blood Lodge or agree on any map. We even had Ormond in one of the community nights. These teams for the grand final said they want to try Suffocation Pit with all the risk for a bug. That's why I'm a little bit worried though. I mean, we have our rules in place. Teams need to provide evidence that something happened. Then we can make an appropriate call. Yet it was surprising to us. But the team said, no, we are staying on Suffocation Pit. So with all the risks that the map is currently bringing, we are playing Blight on his standard Season 9 map, yeah.
Okay, so that'll be a little interesting, especially if we have to make any decisions regarding any bugs that occur. We'll have to see exactly what the teams do, but we are going to be loading in with Eunoia staying on killer against the survivor team Insomnia. It's been a long day, but they need to lock in because this last one is what really matters. If Eunoia wants to stay in the running for winning this thing, they have to take the next set. They have no choice. So don't go anywhere. Well, okay, we're actually going to be taking a moment here for these survivors to actually die on hook. I feel like everybody forgets that if the game's over like this, they can attempt a Kobe, but everybody always wants to play by the rules. They don't want to break anything. So we kind of just have to sit here and watch them die. I hope we don't run into any bugs on the Suffocation Pit. I know that it's mostly having to do with collisions being invisible. So if the Blight runs into something randomly, that is definitely a very real thing that could happen during these next games. So hopefully that doesn't happen. I don't know. It'll be interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, we just made them aware again, giving them a final chance to find an agreement for something, because it's also tricky, right? When you're moving away from Suffocation Pit and one team says we want to play on Blood Lodge, it's not bugged, then you cannot just move the map over there, because maybe this team has an advantage on Blood Lodge, they've already practiced it, hoping hoping that we would agree to the switch to Blood Lodge and so on. So you need an agreement between the two teams. Only then you can really adjust it for a grand final like that. We just made them aware again. While we are now needing this tiebreaker, I think we can all agree it is a very serious set. So they have one last chance to agree on something different, as we really don't mind. And we have reminded them that they have the responsibility for proving anything on their end if something happens. And we can already see that, yeah, Eunoia is sticking to Suffocation Pit 1. Insomnia has offered Blood Lodge. Eunoia wants to stay on Suffer 1. So it is going to be Suffocation Pit with the risk of a little bit of bugs. If they happen, don't scream at us. You know where the email of behavior is located. Therefore, we are going to see the set number 7 with currently 3-2 in favor of Insomnia. So if it's Eunoia taking the Blight, then we are moving back to Doctor. And if it's Insomnia, then they are going to win the grand final. We will see you right after a short break. Hello everyone, and we are back on the Suffocation Pit with the Blight, who hopefully has a future so bright. And we see a red light. That is the survivor Garafa. Oh, what a night for Team Insomnia, so clear. And I will tell you, my dear, just a few gens left and right. Yeah, then they are shining. You are right. And now let's try to see if our survivor team of Insomnia can make the decision in this grand final. They have an extra turn, basically. If Eunoia would win this Blight set, then we have to go back to the Doctor, as we're currently with a 3-2 in favor of Eunoia, in favor of Insomnia. But you kind of want to end it, because the longer you take to seal the deal in the grand final, the more you are giving Eunoia a chance to come back. And this, Ray, was the most obvious pallet save setup that I've ever seen, just like in the previous trial, the head-on save.
Yeah, maybe a little bit extra setup care needed to be taken by Team Insomnia right there, because there wasn't even that many objects to hide behind. A sprint burst does help a little bit, but not enough. What the heck is that? Oh my god, Undying revealing Garafa was there for the pallet save too. Could have gotten it, maybe not actually, but did spot them out. Thank you, Undying, for that little bit of aura reading value. It's always that catches me off guard. Whenever you see that happening in a comp game, I'm like, wow, Undying is OP. Except now it is not, because they are on the chase of Garafa. Oh, a swing and a miss right there. This good God Filler pellet right here. Oh, another swing and a miss. He is buying a little bit extra time for Garafa to just juice around. Tries to get a little bit extra distance, absolutely bamboozles the Blight. Maybe he was just deciding to go back to Hook, because the survivors are out here just sort of doing gens. Deku, the Deliverance survivor, isn't able to go over there and get their Deliverance in time. Instead, you see Samurai rotating in possibly the Decisive Strike player, if it's not the person already up on Hook. Possibly because in this area right here, it's not very easy to get out of location. Instead, they decide to just let that person go to struggle, and instead traded the progress for generators, except you see Ace up there on the hill with balance landing, the Blight shooting immediately afterwards. Oh no! That play right there was a little bit sloppy from the survivors, because now they're in a really bad position, not able to get the save. They still have to heal. They don't have too many generators done. This is the second generator done. It's not unheard of for a Blight to get a kill at this early of generators, but it's not something you want to deal with as the survivor.
Now 25 seconds remaining on that hooked survivor, then we would already talk about a 3v1 scenario. Second generator being done, though, a good counterplay being shown here by the survivor side of Insomnia. Usually we have the elimination a little bit earlier, even when we are on 3 or 4 generators remaining. Nia moving in, then giving up. This is telling us that there must be a second survivor lurking in the shadows for the potential rescue, but the answer is no. Leonidas will be able to catch the first elimination of this trial, jumping right on to the next survivor here, who's now moving over towards this main building. And Samurai is going to need a longer chase here. We want to get a little bit of wiggle room and progress onto the generators that are currently being repaired. Not going to hit this one, and it's going to be Samurai successfully with the dodge right here. Leonidas has to give up on that survivor, but that's spot Neko, who's just making the way gone from the generator over here. He has a difficult time moving into the midsection, so this might be potential down here.
Yep, and a potential down would be insane to have in this position. One of the survivors is already out. This survivor is about to be out as well. No pallet save here. And this will be the fresh hook. And we know that that was the survivor with deliverance. So that important perk that sometimes can turn the tide, it's out of the game now. Doesn't have any use whatsoever. So the survivors are looking to be in a pretty not so good spot. But they did get 3 generators done, which, you know, Blight can sometimes 4K with multiple gen standing, so it's not too terrible of a position to be in, but you could have asked for just a little bit more. Even right there, taking a tag through that seawall pallet, something that you usually see comp players just immediately drop, because why wouldn't you? You just want to prevent that. Not right here! The reset is found! Garafa is placed up on the ground with no means to get back up, and Neko is in danger of going down as well. Oh, that's not looking good.
Nope, it is problems team, if we want to use the famous term from the DBD community. That's going to be the next slug, potentially. I don't think we will see this being a normal hook stage. Sure, Leonidas thinks he has enough time. Samurai over there on the other generator. We can see that, yeah, with the Undying, a little bit of wall hack coming out here for the killer. And that's the city of 4K2. Not at all what Insomnia needs to win this grand final. And I'm telling you, Ray, whenever a team has missed multiple chances of winning something in DBDL, they lost it at the end. We have seen it last weekend with Valentine's. They were up 2-0 in the semi-final. Then they didn't use their chance in one set with a tiebreaker. They didn't use their chance afterwards. 2-1, 2-2, and then they were out with a 2-3 out of nowhere. And this is what I see at the moment here as well. Insomnia had a lot of chances. They are up this set point. They had it on the Doctor already. They had it earlier if they wouldn't have made some mistakes on the Artist set. And now, yeah, it's rough because you are giving Eunoia the feeling that it's not over. And Insomnia, what they want to make Eunoia feel is that there's a decision, right? Insomnia is the better team. Insomnia has the advantage, so Insomnia will close it here. But now 2 sets, Insomnia has basically given the message to Eunoia, hey, you guys can do that. We are not that strong at the moment, and we are not interested in sealing the deal here. So I do think this is greatly supporting Eunoia at the moment, and if you are able to win this set here, then we will see a much different Eunoia on the Doctor, because we also need to keep in mind that the Doctor was picked by Eunoia, if I'm not mistaken. So if you are making the ultimate set, the ultimate deciding... I know it was Insomnia, never mind. But if you have already like pushed it back like this after being down a set point for 2 consecutive sets, then I feel like Eunoia might take the win here unexpectedly.
And even if they do take this win in the set, we would definitely have to go back and play that Doctor set, so it's not over just yet. Guys, we will take a moment, we will switch sides. Eunoia will be playing Survivor against the killer team Insomnia. In order to win, Insomnia has to 4K at 3 gens, but in order to tie, they have to 4K with 2 gens remaining. We'll see if they can pull it out. Don't go anywhere, everybody. We'll be right back. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to potentially the last game of today's matchup of Insomnia versus Eunoia, except what Insomnia must do to win this set, they have to 4K with 3 generators remaining, which is a tall order, but not the tallest. It is a Blight set. He is fast-paced. Anything could possibly potentially happen. We'll have to see. We need to see good chases from these Blights. We need to see good downs, good hits. Right there, Med Talk's not giving one for absolutely free. We've got Rune Undying up. making generators regress. The survivors aren't currently working on them. Pop goes a weasel just in case they both get cleansed, and corrupt intervention, zoning the survivors on one side of the map. We can see that Medtox's chase over here is intentional. There's 3 gens on the other side that are unblocked. So survivors are going to be working on those diligently to make up for the fact that Medtox is
Rough
Blight is an
start.
S tier.
Oh.
It is a little bit of a rough start, but I wouldn't say the roughest.
I think I lagged there and I didn't hear you anymore, and then I thought you are not here anymore. That's why I yapped into your sentence. I'm very sorry, Ray.
Oh, how dare you! No, it's fine.
So, I was about to say, we have another very rough start into a Blight trial right here. First, almost instantly, we see now a trade happening. I do think Garaffa is taking that very happily because this survivor was not on the hook for too long yet. So, a time trading is not really what we are seeing at the moment. Nice done though by Garaffa, making sure that we are immediately able to go for this survivor, and very nice dodge though, especially in these 4 lanes where you don't have a lot of room to maneuver. Very nice to force the juke right there. Next generator being completed. I'm not entirely sure if I agree with the Garaffa's decision making here, because what was supposed to be a tunnel, Ray, is turning into an endless run.
Yep, that down needed to happen incredibly quick because a tunnel can be really good in this situation, making the 3v1, but it has to happen incredibly quick. And now we're in win territory. The killer needs to kill all of these survivors before they get even a single more generator done. Because if they do, then it's tie territory, and that is not what you want to see. We don't want to see any more ties. But you also don't want to lose this set as well, because that means that Eunoia will be up in the races for a win. We'd have to replay that Doctor set, but this killer needs to 4K everybody right at the moment while they're all healthy. It's not impossible, but it's definitely looking like it's going to be a little bit more difficult.
Sponge, on the other hand, also known for longer chases. We have seen him taking quite a few good chases today, so Garaffa probably making a smart choice here, not going instantly after that survivor. Back towards the top side where we have some pressure on the gens. Now Hex Ruin being removed as well. So much happening at the same time, Ray, and all in the disadvantage of the killer. I think Garaffa gave it away when he decided to slug Fats and then going for this long run in the midsection. Keep in mind everyone, one more gen for the tie, and then we are going to already talk about the win for Eunoia here when they are smashing through more gens. Feng being found right here, that is Raiden, but he will first be able to make it towards the bottom half, and he has 2 tags available for himself, and even 3 tags because he is invisible. He's a ninja player who's not able to be injured. Garaffa really struggling. Ray, I feel a little bit bad for Garaffa because it feels like he doesn't know where to go next, and I can feel him a little bit because certainly the Survivor team is doing a fantastic job here, but yeah, this is horrible for Team Insomnia right now.
The survivors are just absolutely reading the mind of the Blight. Every step the Blight is taking, the survivors are already there and getting the generators progressed exactly what they needed. This is what we wanted to see earlier in the matchups of today. We wanted to see the survivors locked in like they are right now. They're playing slow when they need to. They're playing aggressive when they need to. They are definitely winning these chases, making Garaffa second guess, third guess, quadruple guess themselves, except Fats will be going down over here. We did munch through some filler pallets, but even then, it wasn't enough. Garaffa is actually going to go for some more slugging. They need to, back to 4K right now, so this is understandable from this situation, but because there's so many survivors that are just up and alive, it could be really, really difficult, especially because Ruin Undying, it's cleansed. There's no more pressure from just slugging people, making it so they have to just get off their generators. And even then right there, a desperate swing to try to just get these survivors down as quick as possible to slug them even more. It's looking like the survivors are definitely playing to their advantage, all being spread out across the map. Even right now, leaving right when the Blight is coming over here, trying to prevent any more tags as necessary, and juicing when they need to. A wonderful dodge by Sponge here. Tries to fake the window, but it's not enough. Has overcome. Will be taking this distance to just get away from that other slug survivor. Metox is up. Raiden is up. They're working on gens. Oh goodness, the Blight does down everybody right now, though. That could be bad news, especially with Sponge right there. No way. No way do they get 4-man slugged. This could be the insane clutch of the season right here. Hopping locker. No, there's no way they all get down right here. Yeah, even Sponge says so. He says, I'm hopping locking you guys. You need to stop going down. Even right here, are you going to be dropping them? No, I'm going to instead be taking this hook. That does give you a charge of Pop Goes a Weasel to place upon a generator with a lot of progress. But the survivors were playing so very well with all these resets and the positioning, but it almost crumbled there. It almost crumbled.
Yeah, I mean, now I'm surprised again, to be honest, because we've just seen Eunoia so strong, right? And we were ready to say this is difficult for Insomnia. Eunoia is going to be very strong here. We are already talking about the Doctor set, and now it's falling into pieces again. And it's also not the first time that Eunoia has shown this a little bit today. So the nerves are blank. I think we can say that. Insomnia and Eunoia, they're both making a lot of mistakes now towards the end. They are very nervous. They are all tired, which is understandable. They are playing and competing for 4 hours now, and they have been quick on the lobby setup. That is a shout out real quick to the two teams. So essentially they are playing 3 hours and 30 minutes in these trials now, and of course your concentration is lacking a little bit, your focus is lacking. On top of that, you're becoming more and more nervous the further we are moving towards the final set. But now it is also important, who wants to be qualified for AHL needs to prove that they have nerves of steel and that they can deal with pressuring situations like that, because this is what DBD Comp is about. You have to function and you have to perform under pressure. Therefore, Eunoia now needs to get themselves ready and straight, and they need to make sure that they get 2 more generators completed here on the suffocation pit. Fats is going to take the down and will be trading with Metox. Garaffa once more going into the tunnel out after the save. I'm not entirely sure. We've seen earlier how much of a punishment this became for Garaffa. We're not being as fast as expected. Luckily, he's able to down Metox much quicker this time. And this should be the 4th generator, right? Speaking for all the Eunoia fans, Ray.
Yeah, hopefully. I think you're cutting out, Dyer. I can't hear you at all, man.
I think Discord has a few issues today. It was just reported by the producer as well in the background. But yeah, I was pretty much done.
Okay, well, you know, maybe it cut you off a little bit, or maybe you just cut off at a very weird time for me to recognize. But yeah, I mean, there we go. We got Tycon Med, so that's great. But the survivors need to get 1 more generator to actually win this. I don't even know what happens in the set of a tie on this set. Do we have to replay the Doctor set and then replay this set? Do we replay this set immediately? I don't understand.
No,
this is a lot of ties.
If we have multiple ties, then we play them in the order of the ties. So Doctor first, then Blight again.
Oh my god, these survivors are just wanting to make us work for this, huh? They're doing a great job of doing this back and forth and not giving these wins like too easily, but man, it is making it for a long day. We've been here, but the survivors as well, they're not doing this intentionally. They want to win this as easily as they possibly can. Garaffa in a position to 3-man slug the rest of the survivors. They're all injured. All the generators are on this side. It seems like they just sort of traded the ability to split the map with the ability just to get that Tycon, because they were working on it earlier, but now we've got this tight 4-gen on this side of the map with almost no resources available. All the filler pellets have been used pretty early, so the chances of extending chases are just pretty much just dwindled to almost 0.
For Eunoia, I can only hope that they are taking this now. Insomnia has given them basically multiple chances here to make a comeback, to make sure that they are able to make the 3-3 and then potentially taking the grand final. And if you're not accepting these gifts and these opportunities, well, then you are also going to have a much more pressuring situation very soon. So yeah, let's see how this continues. We do see Fats right after the reset with Sponge being found there as well. Raiden is still on the hook, so it does point more and more towards a 4K again, which you don't really want to see by Team Eunoia here, as they would really deserve to have a better performance. We have the UB and the Deliverance onto Fats here, so at least no one needs to rotate towards the main building side, making sure that we are going to have pressure on the next generator. But now it's also time to go for the gens here on the survivor side. They need to hop on the objectives. They need to realize that every single second is counting, and that's going to be Sponge still in the next chase almost immediately after rotating a little bit towards the top side. Killer potentially moving back towards Fats. They're trying to save the Unbreakable, though. This might come in handy for later.
The Unbreakable definitely could come in handy, unless it was used earlier, which I don't think it was, but we don't know for sure. Oh my god, jumping into a locker, forcing the pick. Are you gonna put them up on a hook? That could activate a little bit of Deliverance. Right? Right? No! Putting them up on the ground. The survivor over there is a little bit stealthy, has a little bit of progress. Oh, it's looking like we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Ace is over here looping this down pallet. However, Grappa has chewed through a lot of the filler pallets. Might decide to chew through this one as well. Oh my god, the tag means that they're going to go to that corner of the map. Maybe they're just wasting enough time for this generator to get done. How much progress? That's a lot, but is it enough? We don't know. Oh my god, Fats almost is completely bled out on the ground there. Unbreakable will make it so the recovery speed is a little bit faster, sorry. So it's not going to immediately be happening. Oh, but Sponge and Fats are both up in that area where that generator had a bunch of progress. Is Grappa gonna go? No, he's not going to go back to hook. That could mean that generator does get done. If it's getting doubled, yes, you have to go back. Oh, it's not gonna get done. Look how much progress it has, though. Wait, this was just getting singly done. Is Fats on the other side of the map? They must have thought that the Blight would have left. Yes, they thought the Blight was gonna leave that early enough. That is the win right there for Team this killer team. The killer team of Insomnia. Sorry, it's been a long day. So they will be securing this as a win and not a tie. Thank goodness we don't have to play this Blight set. That does mean that we are going to be replaying the Doctor set.
The Doctor with the ultimate decision-making, Ray. It is a 3-3 now. And, yeah. That's,
It's good.
I had a speech prepared and now it's completely gone. I have to agree with you, though. We are sitting here for 4 hours and obviously we have a blast, but after 4 hours of constant yapping, it is, you kind of need a break as well. So if Ray and me are saying anything weird in the next few minutes, please don't judge us for that. But what I wanted to say is that I don't really have a favorite this time when we are moving into this tiebreaker of the tiebreakers. Usually when you play a long game, best of 5 and even more in a best of 7, you have a little bit of a feeling who does better in difficult situations, who can deal better with the pressure, who has shown more consistent performances and stuff. And here I feel like I have no idea if it's going to be Eunoia or Insomnia. Both teams have made huge mistakes from time to time, immediately letting the gameplay slip, not using a win condition for their advantage. Both teams have been up and down really unexpectedly. So do you have one of these teams where you say they convince you more in becoming the winner?
If it was like on a specific set, I would say yes, but going back to the Doctor set, they both got 4K'd one and they both made almost the same mistakes from each team. We'll have to see if maybe now they're just warmed up now. Like that's just what the excuse is, right? Oh my god, what are they doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Just go pull the hatch! You're stressing me out! Yeah, if they get out through here, it's like, yeah, they get another thing out. It's still, you know, that's not where the hatch is gonna spawn underneath Ace's feet, right? Yeah. He gets out, he He takes his health stage and he's out. I mean, it doesn't affect the win. We already know who won, and we have to replay the Doctor set regardless. But like I said earlier, maybe now they're warmed up with the Doctor set. Maybe we'll see some insane chases, some insane looping, insane body blocking, and decision making from the Survivor and the Killer both. Don't go anywhere, everybody. We're going to be replaying the Doctor set. Hopefully the last set. If they keep tying it, we're just going to keep replaying it. So hopefully one team comes out on top. Don't go anywhere, everybody. We'll be right back.
So, welcome back to a Doctor set. You might feel like a deja vu. Yes, we had this earlier on the red shop, but Insomnia and Team Eunoia were not able to determine a winner for this grand final yet, and we had one set that was a tie, and this was the Doctor. We have also swapped the order. While Insomnia has taken the killer role on the Doctor set first earlier, it's now going to be Eunoia kicking it off with Raiden, DBD, and our Nia is picking the outside of this loop, the shorter side of this filler pallet, which is going to result in a very quick injury. Dropping the pallets as early as possible, making sure that we're getting some safety, trying to get back towards that pallet, but Raiden was beautifully reading that, making sure that Neko is instantly going down onto the floor, making sure that head-on is not going to come in unexpectedly. But we have 3 survivors pretty freely spreading across the generators, so we should see a little bit of progress this time. Keep in mind, everyone, this needs to be on point now gameplay wise. You don't want to see mistakes on either side, because this decides if you're going to qualify for AHL 2024 or not.
We do have Eunoia playing first, right? That's the killer team.
Yeah.
That's different than what we had earlier. Insomnia Doctor was playing first. So right now, it is the team Eunoia setting the win con as opposed to last time where Insomnia set it. So they are going to play this a little bit differently, because whenever you play for a win con, you know exactly what you need to do, where you need to be applying the pressure. So right now, Raiden is sitting in a pretty good spot. He has a down at generator still remaining. You know, Doctor isn't really supposed to get the downs at 5 gens. And now at 4 gens, Neko seemingly about to go to struggle. They have progress over here, progress somewhere else. Is there somebody who's going to be saving at the last moment? It does not appear so. No, they're actually just going letting Neko go to struggle once again. I do believe that happened in the last Doctor game as well. And even right now, the Doctor is very far away from the hook, able to kick this generator. No pop goes a weasel available. That's just going to be a dry kick with some regression. The killer knows that the survivor was there, however. Maybe just a little bit extra, 1 second delay could make all of the difference in the world. And decides to actually just go back. He made him want to kick it again. It's going to get a little bit regressed. Garafa getting a little bit of a shock as well, possibly making it so that they have to break out of madness in order to work on that generator. They are trading this survivor's death for gen progress. Oh, I believe that they were trying to rotate in, possibly to get the save. I don't even know if you have enough distance. It seems like they're changing their mind last second, but if they give tags and not actually save Neko off of the hook, that could be insanely bad for the survivors. Yeah, that's not even going to happen in time. And this is time just not spent sitting on generators, and they give a tag for free as well. That is a not very good rotation from the survivors right there. The comms might have been a little bit off. They need to just get more generator progress to sacrifice for the fact that they're now in the 3v1.
Garafa here in the next chase. I totally agree with you, Ray. That elimination is definitely going to be a huge punishment for the survivor side, because we also don't have this really impactful counter, right? Usually when no one is moving in for the rescue, you know that 3 survivors are working on the gens, so you hear bam, 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 and the objectives are getting done all around you, and this is not happening here. Insomnia was sleeping a little bit. Potentially, they were arguing what's the best decision. They were indecisive between going for the unhook or staying on the generators, and this is why these generators are coming in a little bit delayed. Yet, they are coming, so this is definitely going to be better than what we have seen in the previous sets, because keep in mind we had a tie with 4Ks on the Doctor, and now we are with 1 gen remaining with just 1 survivor going into elimination and another fresh survivor being hooked. So it looks a lot better. It seems like Insomnia on the survivor side has learned a lot from the mistakes earlier, and that can also be the difference, taking the crown in a grand final when you are able to adjust your strategy a little bit faster than the opponent.
And they need to do that indeed. Right now, just getting another generator done is possibly on their #1 priority. The Doctor right here is able to pressure the hook and this injured survivor, eyeballing the hook there to see if Cheryl is going to be going for the sneaky save. They're doing a little bit of seesawing right here. The Doctor trying to pressure generators and pressure that injured survivor. However, while Samurai is over there pressuring this hook, he's not doing anything to progress the game, right? Cheryl is over here doing this generator, but like that's just so much lost progress right there. The efficiency is just not officiating. So, like, he's just shocking everybody, getting this for free. The hook stages are just happening. Like, there's barely any progress coming from Cheryl over there because she's having to constantly get off of it. She's constantly getting shocked. And right here, Samurai is just doing absolutely nothing. This is a perfect spot for the Doctor to be in.
Yeah, Doctor now making a little bit of a comeback here, and we see this indecisiveness that I was talking about earlier when we were wondering why are the gens coming out delayed. We are seeing a survivor here who's staying in half distance because injured, and he's not doing anything. He's not going for the rescue. He's not able to go for the rescue because injured. Like, send the healthy survivor in. If you say we are going to save this team member, then please send the healthy survivor with a trade, and then you have 2 minutes of hang time, or leave it, say we will sacrifice you, but then have 2 survivors on the generator. This was nothing. This was 1 survivor standing 1 minute in front of a killer and not doing any significant impact. And sorry if that sounds very negative. It is meant as a constructive criticism. This is wasted time. And in a grand final, you don't have time to waste. And you cannot allow time to go wasted here. So what the Survivor team just did was really not the play to do. Now we see exactly the punishment of that. 1 survivor is in chase. The other one has to rotate around, losing a little bit of time, and no generator is being progressed. And if they would have made a clear decision there, either saving or sacrificing in favor of the gens, I do believe we would have already generated number 5 being completed here. And also it was the reason why earlier we had to wait a long time until generator 3 and 4 were finally being repaired. Insomnia not making clear decisions and not enforcing these decisions, and this is what causes them to potentially get 4K'd here out of nowhere.
That survivor, even if Renato had just like sat on a generator and instead of just hovering right there at the hook, there would have been 2 generators split with progress. And definitely if the survivors were able to just drag the Doctor away from that other side of the gen with the map being split, it could have been done, like you said. That play where Renato was trying to pressure the unhook only works if there was another survivor alive. That would have been an incredible play had there not already been a 3v1. But now you're in a situation where it's a 2v1, and the killer knows exactly where all the generator progress is at. And this is exactly just the seeds that they sowed right now. They're all down. The generator only had just a little bit of progress, while the other one just didn't have anything. There was nothing else to speak of. So now the Doctor has a 4K at 1 generator left. It was just that little bit of, like you said, it was just indecisiveness right there. And I'm able to commit to a really good, solid 1 play. Hey, this killer is either going to commit to me on this chase right here so you can get the pull, but the killer decided that he didn't want to. He could just sit at that generator and that hook. They didn't have enough time to get it done, so he was just sitting happily. Raiden played that exactly how he was supposed to, saw what the survivors were doing, and capitalized off of their mistake. We'll have to see. Maybe the killer next game could pull out a 4K2 for a win. Hopefully it's not another 4K1 for a tie. We will be sitting here again. We're going to be replaying this set until somebody wins on Doctor. Until somebody wins. We'll have to see what Insomnia's Doctor does. They are able to change their build from previous. We saw Raiden actually didn't have Hex Ruin in the previous Doctor game they played, so I think the killer is able to change their perks. We'll have to see. They should not be bringing in NOED here because they need to 4K2 to win, 4K1 to tie. So we might be seeing maybe the same build, maybe a little bit of save the best for last instead of Ruin, because that is another good chase perk to have on Doctor. We'll have to see. We'll see if Insomnia can pull out a win here, but 4K2 a Doctor. It's a perfect game you have to play.
Yeah, keep in mind, Ray, even when they are allowed to switch their builds, they still have to lock them in before the set starts. So if Insomnia locked in and know it, then they have to play it. I will not leak anything, but just saying, there's the possibility that a know it might have been selected here. And yeah, the 4K1 here hitting me out of surprise, it is not allowed to happen after a mid-game like that. We had 4 generators done when the first elimination came through, and basically the survivor team was handing it like a gift to the killer. In my old comp team, where I was playing in Team Cold, we had one rule, and this rule was whatever we decided to have the game plan in a certain situation, we are not going to discuss it, we are not going to debate it, we are going to do exactly this, and if it goes wrong, we can ask ourselves at the end, what should have we done different? But while we are in the trial, we are following the plan. And I feel like this is a rule that Insomnia should adapt for their own gameplay. If they would have sat here, let's save, and then send the healthy survivor trading, even if it would have turned out to be bad, they would have 100% earned more out of it than their weird, confused back and forth plan. And if they would have said, let's stay on the gens and sacrifice our mate, maybe it wouldn't have been ideal, but at least they would have had more pressure in the gen instead of having one survivor standing in front of the hook not knowing what to do. So if it's not ideal, you can discuss afterwards, you can watch the VOD, you can listen to the casters, you can make 1 million video analysis afterwards, but during the trial, make a plan and enforce it, because it will always help you more than discussing and being indecisive. And this is what we have beautifully seen here. So a little bit of cold technique, guys, and then everything is, that's why cold disbanded. No, but I think this was the key here. And this was the key of getting 4K at one generator, literally out of nowhere, if we want to word it like that. We have Garafa already in lobby. This is a shout out we have to give to both teams, though. The lobby setup is incredible. We are playing set number 8 at the moment, and we are at 4.5 hours at playtime at the moment. I don't want to address it to some teams, but they are definitely competitors in DBDL that would already see the next morning when we have 8 sets back to back. So thanks a lot to these two teams giving us a quick switch between the breaks. Fat, Sponge, Mattox, and Raiden are also in the lobby, so the break will be very short, and then we are going to show you the final trial of this grand final. See you soon.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to potentially, possibly, probably, hopefully, the last game of this matchup, Eunoia versus Insomnia. In order to win this, Insomnia needs to 4K with 2 generators remaining. It's not unheard of, especially with the results we have seen today. Maybe it will happen, maybe it won't. The survivors, man, do all the gens. That's what I'm asking. I need them to do all the generators. That way, it will secure a win for Eunoia. We'll have to see exactly what they intend to do right here. The survivors are already doing a good job of not giving a tag out for free, although Medtox is found a little bit close right there, but is at main and will be able to waste a lot of time here. We already have a generator at 50%. That is exactly what you like to see. The tag does unfortunately happen a little bit too early, but look at all these fresh tiles. Look how many there are, and the killer is not even deciding to chase. This could be the beginning that the survivors want, except Fats is also caught out of position just a little bit, does give a tag as well. Might have been the person who was hovering for a body block, so I guess it's not the end of the world. Don't go down, Fats, no! Oh, that goes for another shock. Oh, but this is dastardly right here. Will this be ending up in a down? It does seem so, except one generator might be getting done across the map, at least for this very early down. Not the best start, but they did get one generator done, so I guess that's a consolation prize.
Yeah, this is a rough start for the survivors now, taking an additional injury onto Mattox there. Still somewhat reasonable, one generator already done, so you are feeling quite okay with that. So, yeah, it's... I feel like a good start for our survivor team. The killer, though, has a good reason here as well to feel good, because he was certainly not put on a longest run or anything. Yet the survivor team of Eunoia, after being down 3-2 and then having multiple chances for a comeback, is smelling it. They smell the crown that they can earn here in the grand final. And now we are going to move further here. Second generator already completed. 3 more, ladies and gentlemen, to qualify for AHL and taking the crown in the Weekend Cup. Definitely proving that you are one of the best newcomer teams that is around currently. We have seen Eunoia multiple times in our scrim nights. Always friendly, always professional, always great gameplay. And as said, if Insomnia is really giving this to Eunoia, then they are responsible for this, because they had 2 chances to finish the grand final for them.
Definitely, indeed. Another down is happening onto Fats here. There are 2 generators done. However, that is not looking like too bad of a scenario. The survivors do need to just chug out 3 more. And even this hook spawn right here, while it is a Scourge Hook Pain Resonance, is very far away from the rest of the map. So if the killer decides to just camp this, the survivors could just sit on gens and possibly try to get those done as well. Except we do see Metox here, who is running in a little bit, possibly trying to get the save while the doctor is out and about. Okay, so these 2 survivors are sitting on gens. This is exactly what they need to do. They need to buy time for that survivor sitting up on hook, and they are sitting up on hook very far away indeed. So Metox does get the save for free. Raiden is caught out injured a little bit, but that's okay because this is not the tunnel out. The 3v1 will not be happening too early. And look at all these wonderful loops that are right here that can just delay this down. Ah, that pellet drop would have been super important. And now we're at 6 stacks of save the best for last. Oh goodness, this could be a turning point for the killer as well. It's so hard to say that this looks like it's leading one way or another because something happens in the middle of it, and it just like seems to turn the tide.
Yeah, I'm becoming super careful here as well. I was in my head, I was already thinking Eunoia found back into it. Eunoia found back their old spirit, their old pressure, and now it looks like the Billy set a little bit how we loaded into this grand final, and they will just smash through here. But now I have to agree with you. 6 stages of Save the Best for Last, generators slowing down, more and more hook stages coming together out of nowhere. It doesn't look that clear anymore. So it is a total surprise. And that, I mean, on the other hand, that is the quality of these 2 teams, right? They're not giving anything to each other. And whenever one team becomes a little bit dominant, the other team already has a response to that and is making sure that they say, well, you might feel good at the moment, but we will make sure that it's not going to be a guarantee. So this is making this grand final very exciting. 7 stacks now of this Best for Last. Look, everyone.
Oh my god.
The killer's just going after the survivor here. 3rd generator being completed. Now it's going to be more and more rough for Garafa. He needs to be a little bit on a speed run. 4th generator would be important though. Then at least we have the tie, and then it can go all wrong. Yeah,
ooh,
there it is.
Nice, yeah, right there. Maybe he flew a little bit too close to the sun, because that will be the tie convent right there. And we're already so far ahead than the last game, because at this point in time, there was a 3v1. So that's not dying there is huge. There's 4 survivors left, meaning that they can go for unhooks, they can do gens, and they can have people chased all at once. That is exactly what the survivors need to do. They need to lock in, sit on those gens, save the people, do everything all right, and it's looking like it might be that way.
Oh, this is turning, and yeah, let's see how this chase is turning out here, because we have an injured survivor over here who could be put onto the floor very, very quickly, trying to go for the shock here, but the survivor is getting the window, then a whiff coming out as we were faking the pallet, but then it's coming to an end. Though you did earn 10 additional seconds for your team, and they are teaming up in the distance. Eunoia knows that it's close. One more generator. They are 50% mark over there. Metox has been hooked before, so we already had the gen regression onto that generator. The singular gen also having a little bit of progress. Main is being prepared, right? It does look like an undoable task for the killer, because they basically need to spread themselves in 2 different locations here, but at the same time I don't want to call it based on everything that we have seen today. So let's hope that Garaffa is kinda making a speed run here, but realistically, Ray, one of these 2 gens should pop in a second.
Realistically, possibly, potentially, Fats is doing a generator over bus side main. There we go.
Yo.
Hooray! They did so good. GG's, well played. Oh my god, that was the longest finals I think I have ever had to cast in my entire life. 2 ties, back and forth. We made it all the way to the 7 sets. But today, the win will be going in favor of Insomnia, right? Incredible grand final throughout the past 4.5 hours, Ray. That's the crazy facts here. 4.5 hours, and now we can meme a little bit, we can down a little bit, but let's ask the most important question. Ray, how do you feel after this long grand final on our hands? You know what, I feel a little conflicted, because I don't know if the teams today played their absolute best. I know that sounds really mean to say, but like they've made quite a few mistakes on each side, like 4Ks and high gens with low tier killers. We saw those Demogorgon sets. We saw the tie on the Doctor set. So I'm not like feeling too very confident, even though it was Eunoia, right? Eunoia is taking this win. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, I said Insomnia earlier. I meant to say Eunoia. They will be taking this win, but it's not by a huge long shot. It was very, very fought between both sides. It was a huge back and forth. While it does feel really good to get it over with, how do you feel about the games? Are you satisfied with your gameplay? What do you think, Dyer?
Yeah, I have to agree as well. I mean, first of all, it's going to be rough for Insomnia to take this. You have played 8 sets, you have played 4.5 hours. To lose by just a little bit, as you mentioned, and you lost by just a little bit after having 2 chances back to back on Doctor 1 and Blight to win this grand final. And this is something that we need to keep in mind. Insomnia just didn't lose in a 2-2-3-3 situation. They had 2 full sets where they had the chance to qualify themselves for AHL, taking the crown in the grand final of this Weekend Cup, and they let it slide twice. And Eunoia then coming back. And it's important then, on the other hand, to keep in mind that the winner of tonight is not a winner because of a dominant performance. It's a winner because the other team in the long shot lost stamina, lost concentration, and let it slide away. This is realistically, and I agree with you, it does sound mean, but realistically, this is part of the context, right? So for Eunoia, it is extremely important that they realize that, and that they make sure now in the preparation for the AHL that they are going to work on these little bit of things. A little fix here, a little strategy adjustment there, not so much risk over here. And I think then they are very ready, because they did play well. Overall, we have to say that too. While having this little bit of critique, they played 4.5 hours here. They came out as the strongest teams of these newcomers, so they deserve a lot of applause. Same for Insomnia, they played very great as well. It was a very entertaining grand final, taking 8 sets. That also tells us that no one was dominant here. But yeah, definitely an insane grand final. 8 sets is very huge. Eunoia, we will see you in All Hallows League. Thank you so much for participating here. Insomnia, thank you for taking the chance as well, and congratulations for a good 2nd place here tonight.